if you can get people to legitimately dislike seeing the heel, they will love whoever kicks his ass and sends him away.
True, but the heel here isn't Randy. The heel is Pat McAfee.
I agree.
When Pat McAfee says, if you win this match, I'll never show up again, who is Randy in this feud? Because it doesn't seem like he is the centerpiece of this match. It seems like Pat McAfee is the centerpiece of this match. Welcome to the Lariat Lounge. This is the home of smart takes, hard hits, and real talk. I'm your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens. Skeener, I'm feeling like we're back in the saddle again, brother.
We are. I don't know. Did we fall off the horse? Did the horse leave us behind? Did we get on the wrong trail? Something happened.
I'm going to tell you one thing I know for sure. OBS royally screwed us last week.
Yes, sir.
They royally screwed us last week. I'm telling you, brother. Listen, for those of you who don't know, last week, Skeener and I had a wonderful episode of the Lariat Lounge recorded and ready for you all.
Some are saying one of the best.
Some were saying one of the best. Some of the people who were talking. And the OBS gods decided that it was not the time for you all to get the best and brightest from the Lariat Lounge. And so an update happened, and it removed my audio inputs from their channels on OBS. Now, for those of you who don't speak sound engineering, that's going to sound like gibberish to you. But basically what I'm telling you is the program turned the microphones off and did not tell me. So the 1 week I don't do sound check. Skeener and I go on and do this entire show. I go to edit the following day and I hit play on the audio once I drop it into my editing software and there's no audio. I'm thinking I broke something. So I'm going through all the audio software trying to figure things out. And then I come to find out the source material is screwed. There's no audio. I can't do anything about it. So unfortunately, we had to have a forced week off. I am just thankful, sir, that the forced week off was not this week.
Yes.
Because that would be awful. That would be god awful. But we did sound check right before we went on recording. Everything is on the up and up. So we are good to go. I am so happy to be back with you all. It legit broke my heart. Skeener had to talk me off the cliff. And I appreciate him for that. I appreciate my wife for that. And in all honesty, I wasn't flipping out that much, but I was a little upset because I really do pride myself on bringing you all this content each and every week. And Skeener and I work hard to put it out here for you. So we're happy to be back. It is WrestleMania week. I'm back in the saddle again. And we're ready to rock. Okay. Skeener, please let everyone know where they can tune in this week, this weekend, because it is on deck, brother. My pizza order is sitting in pre-order, waiting to be sent. I am so hyped. Let them know.
You know where to find the Lariat Lounge. This podcast, we're coming at you once a week, every week, the biggest wrestling week of the year, WrestleMania week. You can find us on YouTube. You need to go there and you search the Lariat Lounge. You'll find our channel. That's where you'll find every episode, video and audio format, all the old episodes. That's where you're going to find us twice this weekend, where we'll be live streaming our reactions. You can watch along with us, watch everything that's going down at WrestleMania 42. Biggest week of the year. We can't wait to see everyone there. How are you going to find out when we go live? You're going to follow us on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. When a story goes up, when we go live, you'll have a link. You can click it right there. It'll take you right to the live stream. Follow us over there. Interact with us. We're always happy to see your DMs over there. Go get your merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. I'm still waiting on mine. Hopefully they make it before this weekend. Yeah, hopefully.
Holy smokes.
Hopefully the wife and I get ours before this weekend.
No.
So, but yeah, we've got what, six great designs over there at ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. Get your merch if you want to wear our faces around on your chest. That's how you do it. And as always, send us an email at thelariatlounge@gmail.com.
Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us. We got an email this week.
We
it
did.
came out. Yes, we came out. It came last week.
Well.
It came last week, and if there's any silver lining here, it is that I missed this email last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember doing it.
And it didn't, because it didn't happen. And it didn't land on the episode, but I happened to check the old Gmails, and I was like, oh, we got an email. And so, we're going to, you know what? We will do that email right at the end of the show. I'm going to send it to you, Skeens. Yep, I'm going to send that email over to you, Skeener, so that you can read that out at the end of the episode, because I'm always happy. We are always happy to get emails on the pod. So, funny story that. So, I sent Skeener that email, and Skeener forgot to read it. So, shame on Skeener. Shame, shame, shame on Skeener for forgetting to read this email. Actually, I take full responsibility. I should have reminded him, and I didn't. So, sorry about that. I'm going to read the email right now. This email is from Sarah, and it reads, just writing in to beat a dead horse in the proverbial ring. Did you guys see that Finn is bringing the demon back at WrestleMania? Hopefully they bring back sturdy ropes with him. That's all. That's the rant. Love you guys. Sarah. P.S. If these ropes collapse again, I'm canceling our subscription to anything that shows WWE. Fair assessment. Thank you, Sarah. Wherever you're listening, we genuinely do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And listen, wherever you listen to this podcast, whether you are watching us on YouTube or you are listening to us at any of the outlets where our podcast goes live, please give us a like rating. It is a small thing to you, but genuinely it means a lot for this podcast. We couldn't do it without you guys, so we really do thank you. But hey, we have kept you waiting for well over a week, So enough with the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. So, Skeener, in light of the fact that WrestleMania is right around the corner, this is our annual predictions episode. Now, Skeener, this is the first WrestleMania prediction episode that you've been here for on the Lariat Lounge. But this is our second annual WrestleMania predictions episode. So basically how I did this last time was I kind of went straight down the card for night 1 and night 2. And anything that was relevant from the Raw or SmackDown leading into this, we just kind of pulled it in as part. I just kind of pulled it in as part of the narrative for where we are with the match currently. Obviously, we've only got a SmackDown left. I highly doubt that we're going to get anything that's transformative in this SmackDown episode, unless, of course, we're talking about something where you've got some very odd storyline elements that have been added that don't really make a whole lot of sense and have really kind of sent the storyline into a field that no one expected it to kind of veer off the road and go into. I'm talking to you, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. But, maybe there's some developments on Friday, but we don't really know for sure. So the first thing I want to touch on, because we have been gone for a week, is there anything from last week's episode of SmackDown or Raw that really stuck out to you that led into this week, at least of Raw, for sure?
I mean, we had a heck of a CM Punk promo. I do know that
Yes,
our listeners didn't get to hear us. A classic CM Punk pipe bomb. But we talked about it on the Lost episode that will live in Lariat Lounge lore forever.
Forever.
Maybe who knows? Maybe it's deep in your hard drive somewhere.
If we ever find it,
we can decompile and find it. But yeah,
if we ever find it, it'll show up. But guys, I have to tell you, it's a shame we lost it, because it was legitimately one of the best podcast episodes in the history of podcasts. That's just what I'm hearing. It's a shame you'll never hear it, but we had so many guests. Do you remember when The Rock came through?
I do. Yeah, it was nice of him to show up. He can't get to Raw or a PLE, but he can get here.
He showed up here, and it's a shame that you'll never hear it. But
get here.
And
I mean, obviously the big things were our reaction to that and our reaction to Pat McAfee's inclusion into the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes
oh
storyline. But
yeah.
as we preview that match, I'm sure we can talk about that. But I think summarily we both were very impressed with a classic CM Punk pipe bomb.
Oh, for sure. That look, all things said, I think one of the better promos that CM Punk has put out recently. And like I said that week on the Lost episode, I think it's very much comparable to the pipe bomb. And I think that the pipe bomb gets the nod over it only because it was the pipe bomb. It was the first that we had seen of CM Punk in that particular space where he's owning that and it's becoming part of what his legacy is. And this was something that it's expected of Punk now because of who it is that he has become. And to see him do it in such a way was just really classic Punk. And it was really good to see it. And honestly, it's set up this week to be, well, it's what, not this week. It's set up, this week of Raw. It's set up this week of Raw with Punk and Roman to really be good. Like I wanted to watch it again. So I wanted to watch it again just to get a refresher of that feel. But man, was that not a great promo? Just to start off with each of them almost pulling back the curtain on their hatred for one another. And that the hatred for one another stems partly from what it is that they as individuals recognize that they lack and what the other one has and what they have been afforded in their career, what it is that they have earned in their career, whether it is accolades or praise and adulation. They recognize that they don't have that. And the thing that they could find admirable about the other is also part and parcel to why they can't stand the other person. I thought it was just a very well delivered dual promos by both Punk and Reigns. It really did set the stage for what we're going to get on Sunday. Skeener, your thoughts on that promo? Your thoughts on the build to this feud overall? And because we're already here, we might as well jump into the very first prediction. In fact, no, let's not do that. Tell me what you thought, and then we're going to go down the card.
Okay, yeah. No, I thought it was awesome. It was an awesome way to end it. I mean, we'd done brawls, we'd gotten physical, we'd done the the high spot promos with the moments. So this I thought was a great way to close it. Like you said, with both guys getting honest with each other about why I hate you, and some reasons that may ring true in real life, may not. Who knows? But I thought it was really good to be not so much understated, but not as loud, and it didn't need to be. Yeah. And I thought it was perfect. I mean, my hype levels for this match are extremely high. Probably the hypest I've been for a WrestleMania match. I take 40 out of the equation because knowing you're going is a little different.
Okay.
But aside from that, maybe the most excited I've been since the first John Cena Rock match. So it's been a while. But I think this has all the ingredients to be an all-timer. And I thought this was a great way to close it out.
I think this is going to be a really quality match. I think that overall, I give the build to this a very high passing grade. I think they've done well to manage the shortcomings of this feud. And they've done a good job of building up the hype. If I'm including 40, which I do, because yes, the anticipation of going to 40 and being there in person was definitely part of the hype train deal there. But I would be remiss if I removed 40 because that was such a big storyline. I mean, would I put this up there with finishing the story.
I think it's hard to put anything up there with that.
I was literally about to say, like, that's really hard to do, man, because there are some people who I'm sure probably think that the Cody Rhodes finish the story arc was a bit overdone, a bit overblown, and maybe some of the people who like it are, I don't know, whatever you want to call us. And look, that's fine. But you're not going to be able to convince me that you're going to be able to I can't say ever, but that you're going to build a storyline that has such lineage as a nearly 4-year-long title run with all of the bells and whistles of the bloodline, all of the story arcs that went into that, all the ups and downs, right? The rise of this version of Roman Reigns as the tribal chief and becoming what WWE always really wanted him to be, right? Defining what the culture of WWE felt like on screen in order to make it fertile for someone like Cody Rhodes to come in and for 2 years fight to finish his story. The bloodline foundation, if it did not exist, I don't think there would have been a finish the story. I don't think that would have landed as well as it did if the background was not set before he arrived. And so that in its totality is why I feel like it's incredibly difficult for a storyline that did not have the majority of its build happen in front of the audience. Because a lot of this with Punk and Roman, like with a lot of things with Punk, stem from the idea of what he was to WWE when he wasn't here, right? And a lot of that was happening in the background of other storylines, including the Bloodline storyline, that are being brought to the forefront now as the impetus for why people don't like Punk or why they have animus towards Punk. And though these things are valid, they did happen in the background. And so it's hard to do that, even though if you want to really count all that time, you could say, how long was Punk gone from WWE? How many years was that?
10.
If you wanted to make that argument, someone could say, oh, well, this is a 10-year build, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. This was a 10-year build to Punk's return, maybe. But even then, it wasn't really a build. It was just him being gone. And it's not to diminish what this is. It's just speaking to the idea that the bloodline storyline rolling into the finish the story as one full arc across 2 WrestleManias, it's going to be very difficult to top that. But
yeah, I think it was just the perfect combination of maybe the greatest. How do I want to put it? I guess the greatest or at least one of the greatest in-universe kayfabe storyline arcs of all time. The conclusion of that in the bloodline, or at least the climax of it. And it meets up with one of the greatest real life journeys in wrestling history. Like, those ingredients were just there for the like an unmatchable climax. So
for sure.
That's kind of why I take it out of the equation, because that's a summit that is just going to be hard to reach again just because of everything that played into it.
Oh, look, I totally agree. But I will say this. This is probably, if I'm ranking the 3 matches that I'm the most excited for, this is also something we talked about on the last episode. If I had to rank this match with the other 2 matches that I am the most excited for, which is Brock and Oba and Randy and Cody, which sadly Randy and Cody is it's starting to fall a little bit for reasons we'll discuss, because we discussed it last week, but we will discuss it now because we've had more added to this since then. But I think the match I'm most excited for is Brock and Oba. You know, as short of a build as this has been, I genuinely feel like this build for Brock versus Oba has been flawless. I think they have landed every single beat moving into this. They have succeeded at simultaneously making Oba Femi feel like the chosen one, right? The ruler that is going to conquer the beast in totality, right? Completely. While also simultaneously reminding us why Brock Lesnar is who Brock Lesnar is, and also having Brock play this role of walking the line between confidence and doubt, and whether or not he's going to be able to do what it is that he always does. And Paul Heyman on Raw really did a good job. I thought that was a really good way to move forward with this because, after you had the failed contract signing, right? And, we've already had all the pull aparts that you could ask for. I mean, this road to WrestleMania was full of pull aparts and brawling some more.
We did last have episode, a bunch of brawls.
Oh, for sure. The last episode for you guys was called All Brawling, No Talking.
Yeah.
And like that's pretty much what it was. It's like everybody comes to the ring and they just are ready to fight. They're not ready to talk anymore. And that's kind of what it's been. So for this week on Raw, for the most part, having everyone simmer down, bring the calm before the storm is what should have happened here. And with Brock and Oba, it was no different. In order to keep these two from destroying each other, they had them come to the ring separately. And what would they did? Sign the contract? Is that what they came out there to do?
It's separate. Okay. They each separately signed the contract.
So they came on each separately signed the contract. And it was really well done to have Brock and Paul come out first, for Paul to cut the promo that he cut, right? Give us one good last view of the Beast and his advocate doing the Beast and advocate thing right before WrestleMania. Flawless. Then, was it the last thing on the show? Was it the end of the show when Oba came out?
No. Punk and Roman closed the show.
That's right. Thank you. So Oba comes out and he's by himself. And Oba comes out.
I don't know. It wasn't last, and I don't think it was next to last either.
Yeah. But Oba comes out and he signs the contract. And then here comes Paul. And Paul comes out. And Paul has what almost seems like a confessional moment where he is talking to Oba Femi, and he's pretty much saying to Oba that no one that he can remember has had such a meteoric rise like Oba Femi has since Brock Lesnar. And no one has been as dominant in the ring in such a short amount of time as Oba Femi since Brock Lesnar. And I believe he was going into another comparison when Oba cuts him off. And Oba pretty much says what a lot of us are thinking is going to happen at WrestleMania, which is he's going to go to WrestleMania. He's going to conquer the Beast. And there's not a whole lot that he can do about it. And it was just, it didn't need to be any more than that. I think Oba Femi does a really good job on the microphone at delivering what it is that he needs to deliver in the right amount of words with the right amount of inflection and character and tone put into it. It just sounds great coming from that man's lips. And I am so hyped for this match. I am happy that it is opening night 2 so that we don't have to wait. Like, obviously we're going to wait through Saturday, which is fine because we got a lot of great stuff on that card. But the fact that WrestleMania Sunday is opening with Brock and Oba, I cannot wait, sir. I can't. So without further ado, let's roll down this card starting from night 1. So it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you have the layout for all the matches in order? Because I'm looking at it on WWE.com.
I don't think we have it in order. I think we know what's opening, and we can assume what's main eventing each night.
So what's opening night 1?
That's the Usos and LA Knight against Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed.
Okay. So I was under the... I listen. I'm so confused because I keep seeing announcements that these matches are going to be held on different versions of ESPN.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it'll be on both places.
Okay, so
it'll be on the streaming service, and then I guess if you wanted to tune in to whichever TV channel it is for what night, be it ESPN or ESPN2, it will also be there.
So let me ask you this. Can someone have ESPN, I guess the streaming service, right? So you said ESPN or ESPN2. Does somebody have to pay for those? You have to pay for those channels?
Yes, like but if you have that in your cable package and you don't have
The ESPN streaming service?
Unlimited, then you
But
can watch the opening
okay, so
in
you can
hopes
only
that someone's like scrolling through or they just see it on ESPN. They're like, hey, I like this. And then they'll be like, the WrestleMania continues on ESPN Unlimited. And they're like, okay, I need to go sign up for that.
So this is essentially the pre-show.
No. I mean, it's still WrestleMania.
I mean, isn't the pre-show always WrestleMania, though?
Do you want to talk yourself into they're putting Brock and Oba on the pre-show? Then fine. But
wait a minute. Wait.
Because that's what it's going to be, because Brock and Oba are going to be on, I think, ESPN on Sunday. It's just, they're also showing like the first hour or whatever on their networks.
That's all. Okay. Listen, WWE.
Simulcast is the word you are looking for.
Listen, I need you to simplify this, okay?
It's very simple. You just watch it wherever you've watched every other PLE.
Until you can't, and then you got to go somewhere else.
No, that's not true.
Well, I mean,
wherever you've watched, however you've watched every other PLE, you will watch the entire PLE there.
I mean, I know where I'll be watching it.
Okay, then.
I'll be watching it from the UK.
Then it'll be wherever it is.
Oh, listen, it's simple for your boy. It's simple for me.
No, I have the ESPN streaming service. That's how I've been watching the PLEs. Yeah. I will do that. I will do the same thing. If people do not have that service, they can also watch the first hour of each night. That's all it is.
Well, okay, fair enough. You know what? Fair enough, WWE. Fair enough. So you said the opening match was the Usos and LA Knight versus the Vision and IShow Speed.
Yep.
Where is that? Why is it so low on my card?
So yeah, that's the opener, and that'll be on ESPN2, which makes sense because I think it'll be a fun match, and then you also try to catch some eyes with IShow Speed.
Sure.
But I mean, I've loved that entire build. I thought it was good. So we did get a new Usos theme. It's just Jay's music with different lyrics.
Oh yes. Okay. So
because now it's just me Us. It's just us.
Okay.
It works. That's what I wanted in the first place.
It does. It does work. I still would love to hear this one-off theme that they use for one night.
Probably find it on YouTube somewhere.
You think? I mean, look, maybe somebody snagged it.
Uploaded it.
Maybe somebody snagged it. But I mean, we'll never get like an HD quality version.
I mean, I'm sure you can go back and probably not. I'm sure you can go back and look on Netflix.
Watch the episode again. And see it. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could catch a little bit of that. But so Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShow Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. So this match, I think the build for this has been pretty fun. I've enjoyed the whole IShow Speed element with the Vision, and
I think he's been awesome. Like that, he's just so reluctant, and like every time his facial expressions have been on point, where he's just like, "Oh no!" Ever since he's been cursed, his life has been hell. He's been getting thrown into a match he doesn't want. He knows it's bad for him, even though he started training this Monday. They got him to start training, and I'm sure he's been working at it. I mean, when he was in the Rumble, 2025, when he took that spear from Braun Breaker. So, look, he's shown he'll get in there. He'll take a hit. So I'm excited.
Listen,
I'm excited.
He went through the whole Maxine Dupree training montage.
Yeah,
and we saw how well that went for Maxine. So listen, I genuinely feel like IShow Speed should be the hot tag for the Vision and get scraped immediately. Like, I think he should get very little offense and get knocked out the frame like quickly. And that be the culmination of his curse from Danhausen, is that he gets, to be at the biggest show of them all and get destroyed in front of everyone. And that then leaves the Vision in a 3-on-2 situation. Either that or the Vision find a way to win here. And this is what sends Jay over the edge. Because I will be honest with you, this whole feud has genuinely put the Usos in the backseat. It's really been between LA Knight, I Show Speed, and the Vision pumping Speed up after getting him into trouble.
To an extent, I mean, the Vision did take the tag titles from the Usos.
But
so
that's my point, right? Is that like their involvement in this is getting their titles taken from them by I Show Speed's reluctant involvement in this feud. You know what I'm saying? LA Knight's the one who went to Speed's house. LA Knight's the one who's been doing all the talking. The Vision have been doing all the talking to I Show Speed. And you have a guy who's not actually a wrestler, right? Who's had the most talking parts in this entire feud. And the whole thing isn't even about the Usos. It's about I Show Speed's reluctant involvement, right? And the fact that this match is going on at the beginning of night one, I feel like the better option for this, which is my prediction, and I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction now because I genuinely have no idea which way this could go, but I'm going to make this prediction because this is what I want to happen. I want I Show Speed to come into the match. I want him to get scraped across the mat. I want him to get scraped across the mat, Braun Breaker style, right? Only for him to come back at some point in the match, right? And cost the Usos and LA Knight the match to the Vision. The Vision retained the tag team championships. And in this loss at WrestleMania, Jey Uso turns heel. He loses it and he turns on LA Knight. He turns on his brother and he leaves him in the ring. That's what I want to see. But Skeener, your first prediction on the Lariat Lounge for WrestleMania 42. Give it to me.
I think what you said is kind of the dream. That's what I'm hoping happens as well. Is that LA Knight loses and and Jay is upset and Jay takes his frustrations out and finally turns. However, I don't think that's what's happening here. I think Jay and Jimmy and LA Knight are just going to win this one. And it'll be a fun opener, but I don't know. I'm torn. Like, yeah, I don't think it's a shoe-in, but I'll split with you here.
Okay.
I hope we get to where you're talking about, but I just don't foresee that one exactly.
Okay.
I don't foresee it here. I think maybe that the turn comes when they get a rematch for the titles and they don't win it.
Okay.
I just don't foresee them, especially in an opener. I don't know. I just feel like if you open it with the heel turn like that, I don't know if they've ever done that. Have they ever opened a pay-per-view with a big heel turn, especially WrestleMania?
Not that I know of, but I can't remember the last time.
Not saying they couldn't do it, but I'm gonna stick with just we get the baby faces with a win.
I can't remember the last time we got a straight up heel turn at WrestleMania.
Oh, I'm sure we could go down and find one.
Oh, I'm sure we could find one. I'm not saying
while.
it's never happened, but I'm saying I can't remember the last time that happened, right? But part of me feels like shaking things up at this year's WrestleMania in Vegas, which is the second year in a row that we've had WrestleMania in Vegas. I think it would do such a service to the fans and to WrestleMania 42 as a product to maybe show the audience and the viewers that WWE is not just going to give you the same thing it gave you last year, right? Which is big matches and a Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman alliance at the end of it, right? We had that nice swerve last year, right? But to set the expectations so differently this year, yes, it's a pipe dream, I think, because I think that requires WWE to be willing to pull the trigger on that now. I personally don't see a better place to do it. I could see why you'd want to wait for the championships to do that again. But at the very same time, I feel like for Jay in his story arc, right? For him to lose in the opening match to WrestleMania after losing the tag titles, right? Not even in a rematch, and losing the match because of LA Knight to a celebrity who's not even a wrestler is going to feel like he has fallen from the very top of the mountain as world heavyweight champion to losing to a celebrity on essentially what is the pre-show. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna die. You're gonna die on this as the pre-show hill.
Look, it's not the pre-show. I agree, but essentially, it's the pre-show. Essentially,
It's not
it is
the pre-show though.
okay. It's
Again,
not.
if you call this the pre-show, then Brock and Oba are on
Yeah,
the pre-show.
I know.
So you got to pick one.
Then I'm okay. Then I will give the credit to Brock and Oba for making this not the pre-show, but losing in the opener to WrestleMania. I feel like that would just be the best place to have them in the ring, kind of lingering around after Logan Paul's music finished playing. You know what I'm saying? Because Logan's music is going to be the thing that they hear, and it's going to be Logan's music playing. They're kind of sitting in the ring, and Jimmy's trying to like, we'll get him next time kind of thing. And LA Knight's kind of stunned because he got the roll up pin, you know what I'm saying, from someone. And Jay is doing that pacing thing where it's like he is just on the edge of losing it. And then he should just go to work on LA Knight. And then when Jimmy tries to pull him off, he lays one on Jimmy too. And then you can build more into that later. And maybe you don't do the full thing here, but like give us something to sink our teeth into, because I feel bad for Jay. And I think that if they're building to something right now, this is probably a great place to give him a WrestleMania montage cut at the end of this and make it feel right for him.
I agree. I think that's perfect. I think that's what I want to happen. I don't think that's what will happen. That's where I'm at, essentially. Like, the way you laid it out is, I think, perfect. Like, the moment set up for it. I think the people are kind of ready for it. They got the titles away from them. I think the titles are on a good team to hold the titles that can do good stuff with them. Yeah. And I think it would be perfect. I just, for some reason, I don't think it's going to happen here. But I would love to be wrong on it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that prediction. So you and I are split.
We are split right away.
1-1 so far.
Yeah.
This is setting up to be good. So let's go through the rest of this card. I'm not going to go to that match just yet. But this is not in any order because apparently we don't have an order yet.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything other than we can assume the main events and we know the openers, essentially.
Yes. So let's jump to this match then. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Now, we got some developments on Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
We did.
And I felt like it was a little forced, but you got to do something with the last Raw before Mania. You know what I mean? And like, this is your last shot to kind of throw something in there to make this make a little more sense.
You know what I thought was forced?
What's up?
Or strange? Why'd Seth come out to jump someone in a suit? Why was he in full suit with a tie just to jump someone? Did he have a meeting? Did he have a meeting or something before? Or
hey, listen, we don't ask this question to Cody. He comes out every week in a $700 suit and rips the buttons off of
but not when he's just there for the sole purpose of a run-in.
Oh, wait, hold on now.
Although I will say, I'm not sure if you caught it, but they were doing some more story build on Pat McAfee's show today.
No, I certainly didn't catch it.
So they were showing security camera footage of Cody breaking into Pat's recording studio for his show, and like damaging things. And Cody took the belt back from his office, and Cody was in a suit, so he did dress up to go break in to do a B&E. Yes, he did. He did rock a suit to his B&E.
I think because he is willing to show up for a B&E in a $700 suit, I think we can give Seth a pass on showing up to work in a suit. You know what I mean? To try and jump Gunther.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't have it planned and he saw Gunther in the ring and he just had to get there.
Dude, you know that's how it happens. They get there and it's like they get furious. And then next thing you know,
yeah, okay.
They're like, hit my music. I'm going out there. And no one stops them from going out there until they get out there. And then they're like, wait a minute.
I don't think he had music. I think he came from behind.
Oh, so he came through the crowd.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense. I've never understood why, like, somebody. Okay, here's the thing. If the officials are not going to come out of the back to stop you, it makes sense, right? They saw you come through Gorilla, right? You gave them the nod. They said, okay, they hit the music. Why do you come out from Gorilla? They hit your music. You walk out there and then you get to the ring and they're like, oh, shoot, send security. We just let him go. Probably shouldn't have done that. but he's out. The cat's out the bag now. So might as well. But anyway, what was Gunther's reason again for wanting to fight Seth, aside from
Seth,
garnering a favor from Heyman?
So I get it. So I understand where this wouldn't be satisfying to some people as an explanation, but I liked it because it fit with Gunther's character very much. His reasoning was that when Gunther became champion, that Seth Rollins, for all he claims to be and how he claims to be, the best wrestler out there, that he, instead of stepping up to Gunther when he was champion, ran away and just became Paul Heyman's lapdog, essentially, is what Gunther said. Which I buy that for the Gunther character, to whom the mat is sacred and this is the ring general, and that he was deeply offended that someone, instead of taking the opportunity to challenge him and become a rival for the ring general, would rather do the Paul Heyman thing. Now, obviously, this is rushed and thrown together to get them both on the card, but as an explanation, I did not mind that at all.
Okay.
I didn't mind it in the sense that I buy that the Gunther character would be upset about that.
Now, when was the last time Gunther was champion?
Up through SummerSlam.
And he dropped that title to
Punk. Jay won it at WrestleMania. Then Gunther won it back not too long after. And then Gunther held it to SummerSlam, where Punk beat him, and then Seth cashed in.
Okay, so he's saying that instead of Seth challenging Gunther straight up, prior to Punk beating him for the title.
Yes, that Seth was too busy running around with
a Paul Heyman guy and waited for his opportunity to take on Punk instead of taking him on.
Yes.
Okay, so I think
he was offended that someone who calls himself the best essentially ran from his opportunity to
challenge the best.
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to explanations, I think that the explanation is sound, right? I think logically it makes sense. Obviously, because this is hastily thrown together, it feels a little weak, in my opinion. Logical, but weak. And because of that, I think I'm willing to give it a bit of a pass.
Well, same. It's like I'm judging it on a scale of like, I just wanted something, anything.
Yeah.
Like, I knew in, 2 weeks they were building this match, it wasn't going to be the greatest thing I've ever seen, but at least gives me something.
I will say this. This match feels like it was thrown together because WWE was really holding their breath that Breakker was going to be cleared.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know what I mean? And because he just was not going to be cleared in time, they had to put something together to not have what it is that they've been building with Seth culminate into no match at Mania.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too.
So,
I mean, obviously we don't know. Maybe we'll know at some point if someone speaks on it, but that also seems what it's like. That seems likely to me as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what it feels like to me. I guess my only gripe with this, and I'm levying this gripe only because after mitigating the other aspects of this away because of the timing, I'm going to say this just because I think it would be unfair to not say it. I feel like if this was your part of your backup plan, implementing elements of this sooner would have been nice. Now, do I think that you should have been dropping hints about Gunther? Maybe not, but it really seemed like you were leaning into this idea that Breakker was going to come back. Or you know what? Maybe, Skeener, this is a machination of our minds, right?
Yeah.
That we have been fabricating this idea that they have been doing this in the anticipation that Braun Breakker was coming back. But really, this whole thing, since Seth got cleared, has been about Seth going after Paul. He hasn't even mentioned Braun, right? And so maybe you're laying the seeds for the idea that Seth is going to get his hands on Paul eventually. And he's done it a couple times, right? And we've got disheveled Paul. We've got chaired up Paul. You know what I mean? We've gotten a few different versions of Paul at his worst. And so to then bring in Gunther as an adversary for Seth, but also as a shield, pun intended, between Rollins and Heyman. Maybe that was the plan that they had been kind of laying the tracks for a little bit, because what I thought was that WWE knew that Breakker was not going to be cleared. And because they knew he was not going to be cleared, they put together a story arc that was going to make it at least feasible that someone else could step in between Paul and Seth to be his nemesis or adversary for WrestleMania. Because we were certainly not getting a Paul Heyman versus Rollins
Now
match.
that I guess maybe it would have aligned them too closely, but man, I still would have loved them to get to put on the card Seth Rollins versus Paul Heyman. And then Gunther can come out and, Gunther can come out and do that as like if it's a no holds barred match or a street fight or something. But, I'm sure there's issues with that too. But you're right. Like the story still seems to be Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. And I don't think we're done with that. But I don't know. You just sitting there talking about that. I still would have loved to see them do Seth Rollins versus Paul Heyman.
I think the Carney in me would love to see that.
And then you can bring out Gunther, and then you can lead into Seth and Gunther at Backlash.
But here's the thing with that, right? If you bring out Gunther, like mid-match, right? You bring out Gunther, I don't think with that type of surprise being introduced that there's any way that Seth could reasonably walk away with the victory. I think from a storytelling perspective.
That's fine. Well, I don't think Seth didn't win in this match anyways. Spoiler.
So there's the prediction here. There's the prediction from Skeens.
The spoiler.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Heyman. Did not realize I was talking to the advocate or the wise man or the oracle, or one of his.
It used to be an advocate, then I retired.
Yep, true. This is true. So the connection is there. I wonder if you should have said that in the courtroom at some point. Like, Judge?
This is a spoiler.
This is not a prediction.
Well, I tell you what, I had my share of swerves.
That'll have to be an off-air conversation at some point, because I would love to hear that. So all that being said, I think I agree with you here. that Gunther wins this match, because I definitely feel like, and it sucks because Gunther has not been a part of this feud. So for him to come in and defeat Rollins at Mania, it feels wrong to me. But at the very same time, how do you put Seth over in this situation and not make Gunther look weak, right?
Yeah,
like
correct.
Gunther steps in as the shield for Heyman, and then he gets kind of blasted. Unless, and I'm going to throw this little nugget of joy out there, unless you've been saving Braun Breaker's return for WrestleMania. Now, you have this match between Gunther and Seth. The match is going on. It's a one-on-one match, right? Which means that standard rules apply. What if the match has a non-finish? Because Breaker shows up, spears Seth out of his boots, right? Maybe we get one more hoodie. Maybe we get one more hoodie performance for the wrestling calendar year. Right.
God, I didn't even think about the possibility that we show up with 100 hoodies for the big WrestleMania hoodie entrance.
No, just one. Just one. I need one hoodie, right? One hoodie in this match, and the hoodie jumps the barricade, right? And just as Seth is getting up off the ground or something like that in the ring, 22-mile-an-hour spear. Everybody knows who it is, right? He pulls off that hood, and it's freaking Breaker. Right? The ref calls the match, right? This sets up something really interesting that you could go with between Seth, Breaker, and Gunther, right? Because now Gunther may have some spite, because it's like, hey, you interrupted my WrestleMania match, right? My WrestleMania match did not get a finish because you came back. You should have waited your turn. You could have let me beat Seth, and then you could do whatever you wanted, right? But now you've interrupted my match, and now I've got a problem with you. Breaker is going to be like, I don't give a damn who you are, right? My beef is with Seth, and if you want it, you can get it too, right? And Seth is going to have beef with Braun, obviously, and we've already established now that Seth and Seth and Gunther can work together and make for something that is interesting out of nothing, right? Maybe we get a triple threat at SummerSlam. I don't know, but that's what I would love to see. So I think, sir, for my prediction, I'm going to go off the script here. And I'm going to say we get a Braun Breaker return at WrestleMania and a no finish.
As someone who demonstratively predicted Braun Breaker returns before, Godspeed, my friend. Godspeed, my friend.
I will hop on the barge that you jumped off of.
So who's winning? Who's winning the match?
I think it's a no finish. If we get a winner, the winner will be Gunther.
Okay.
The winner will be Gunther because Braun Breaker interfered. Now, if I want to go to the route of giving the match a finish, right, that would be the way to do it. You can still go forward with that, right? Because Gunther could still be like, I didn't need your help. You know what I mean? I didn't need your help in this match. And the fact that you got involved in my match is where I draw umbrance, right? And you can still have the same position from Breaker and the same position from Seth, right? And even more animus with Seth because now Breaker cost him his WrestleMania win, right? And he can be upset with Gunther because Gunther got a tainted victory. So if you know what, I'll play fair and I'm not going to go the no finish route. I will say Gunther wins because of interference from Braun Breaker. Gunther's already showed us before that he's willing to take a shortcut to win a match. And so, you know, what that low blow stuff with what was it with AJ?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he's shown us that he took advantage of the ref not seeing the other side of his tap.
Yeah, the tap, yeah.
Yes. So he's shown that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win the match, right? So that would not be beyond Gunther's repertoire of resourcefulness to take advantage of the ref not seeing Breaker spear Seth out of his boots. So I think that'll be an incredible WrestleMania moment that would give Gunther the win. It would protect Seth. You know what I mean? I that's my pick. That's my pick. Gunther wins with the interference from Breaker.
I think it's just clear we want Braun Breaker back as soon as possible.
I think it's clear we want Breaker back ASAP. So I'm just scrolling through because we don't know what the order of this is. So I'm just going to go picking matches. And the next one up is, it is the match we've all been looking forward to. It is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way with the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, taking on the Allies of Convenience, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus the Bella Twins.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. Because right now, I mean, from what I heard, Michael Cole said that Nikki is rehabbing her ankle injury and hopes to make it back in time for WrestleMania.
She hasn't even been there because Danhausen's backstage segments, only one Bella clone has been involved.
Yeah. So I listen, the fact that they are still on the graphic this close to WrestleMania makes me feel like she is cleared. And maybe they're working some kind of angle.
Ask Bayley about that last year, about what being on the graphic means.
That is sadly true. That is sadly true. Was she on the graphic the week of WrestleMania and then she wasn't in the match?
I think so. Didn't she? I don't remember when they did the attack angle.
I remember feeling that, though.
I thought it was like that week.
I remember her doing the Chris Van Vliet interview and being very disappointed that she was not going to make WrestleMania.
I don't remember exactly.
You might be right, though. I mean, I think I remember.
I thought it was very, very soon.
It was.
No, I remember the interview you were talking about.
Yeah.
Let me just I'll look it up as you lead into this match.
So
this wonderfully built match.
Oh man, listen. This has been the biggest stinker of a build that I've seen for this entire 2-night WrestleMania. And I know, fair listeners, you probably thought I was going to make a funny there and, joke about how this was great. But this is not. This build has been by far, in my opinion.
Bayley was attacked prior to night 1's broadcast, and the match was on night 2.
Ooh, so on SmackDown.
She got attacked. No, after SmackDown, before night 1. So Saturday.
That happened
she got attacked
screen.
Saturday. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they showed it, but
So
Right,
she
it wasn't on it.
because her injury is what officially really took her off the card. And then she
Yes.
gets attacked, quote unquote, right, to remove her storyline wise from her match. The Chris Van Vliet interview came out before SmackDown.
But she knew.
But she knew,
Obviously.
and that's where the speculation came from, because in the interview, it sounded like she knew she wasn't going to be on the card. And
right.
then,
I thought the interview like released after WrestleMania, but it was like clear she knew at that point she wasn't.
Did it release after WrestleMania? I thought that interview released before. I think the interview released before WrestleMania, because I remember watching that interview thinking she sounds like because I think if you were paying attention, if you're a fan and you don't necessarily need to be in the dirt sheets, I think the word was kind of floating around that she was injured, and whether or not she was going to be cleared, we didn't know. But I remember watching an interview thinking she sounds like she's not going to make WrestleMania. Then when the injury angle came out, it's like, okay, well, she's clearly not making WrestleMania. But suffice it to say, Nikki's on the chopping block right now because we don't know where she's going to stand. That would obviously then take Brie out of the situation, right? This would turn into a triple threat for the women's
Danhausen did offer his services to become a Bella clone and do some twin magic with Brie, but I believe she declined.
I'm pretty sure she would decline that one. And if she didn't, kind sir, I think WWE would decline. I think they would decline that one. Unless you're replacing one of each member of the team with a dude. If they did something like that and was like, you know what, Danhausen's going to stand in, so I need you guys to do rock, paper, scissors and decide which one of you is going to sit down. If Bayley got hit again and was like, got to sit out another one, I think she should turn heel on the whole division. But
remember when we thought that was going to happen? And she doesn't even have that gimmick anymore?
Wow.
The one we liked?
I mean, it came and went, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess we were the only people that liked that one.
Yeah, listen, I sometimes I feel like you try something and it sounds like a good idea at the time, and you maybe even like it, and then you realize that it's not going to be sustainable. She carried it longer than I thought she was going to, because it seemed like they were kind of pulling away from it, and then they came back to it a bit, and then I think it just kind of went away once her and Lyra became actual friends. And I don't know. Listen, mental health is tricky, and sometimes you need to get help.
Maybe they didn't want to touch that.
Maybe
now
listen,
that I think of it.
AJ Lee stopped talking about it.
Well,
AJ Lee stopped talking about it.
That's because that was a shitty fucking promo that she did. Sorry, not sorry there.
Listen, I'm not arguing against you.
I think they just one match has to have the worst build. This was it. It was clearly not a creative focus because the formula eventually became either two of the teams wrestle or one member of one team wrestle another, and everyone will interfere, and we'll call it a night, and that'll be the build for tonight. So, story-wise, there isn't much to talk about here, other than we got 4 teams going to win, or going to be in this match trying to win the tag titles. I think it's going to be Nia and Lash retaining. At least I hope so. I think they have a lot more to do character-wise. I love what they've done so far. I think it's a fun pairing. I sent you their theme that has been released, and I told you I heard Lil Jon in there, and there are 100% Lil Jon ad-libs in that theme, which is incredible, and for that reason alone, amongst a myriad of others, but even if it was just that, I would love them to retain, and that's what I think is going to happen.
Well, sir, I think that Nia and Lash are going to remain a tag team for a good little while.
I hope
even after they lose the championships.
Oh, here we go.
They're going to lose the championships to Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I think that they have invested the most substantial amount of storytelling in this entire feud between Lyra and Bayley. I think that Nia Jax and Lash Legend have been the dominant champions, and they are an incredible tag team. And I think that they are probably second, in my opinion, to who has been invested in most uniquely, right? Because I think everyone's gotten about the same amount of time here, but everyone else just kind of been like, why are you interfering in my match, Bellas? Why are you interfering in my match, Charlotte and Alexa? But Bayley and Lyra have had this journey right? Which we were literally just talking about, right? Into their reluctant friendship, or their friendship, which then kind of fell out, which then kind of came back, and Lyra has helped Bailey through her mental health crisis, and they've come through this, and now they fought for each other to get into the tag team championship scene, right? And now they're in this match at WrestleMania. I think they are probably the feel-good story of WrestleMania, is for Lyra and Bailey to win the tag team championships. I don't think they're done feuding with the Irresistible Forces, but I also think that Charlotte and Alexa are not long for their tag team, because I'm starting to get these breadcrumbs that are being dropped, particularly by Corey Graves, who has been talking about how Charlotte has been paying way too much attention to looking cool, to being friends, and all these other things. And we need Charlotte to get back to Charlotte being the winning Charlotte. And, you know what I'm saying? Stop playing around these games, right? The Bellas, they're questionable to even show up, right? Which leaves Nia and Lash. I think they are probably the strongest tag team, and they're not going anywhere. They just got Lil Jon music. You don't spend that money and get Lil Jon to do your music, and y'all are going to split up soon. So I think they're going to stay as a continuous force in the women's tag team division, but they lose to Bailey and Lyra Valkyria at WrestleMania. I think it just makes the most sense.
Well, we'll see. So another one we're split on.
We are split on another
one we're split on. I could see that. You're right. They've been investing a little bit in Lyra and Bailey, and maybe this is a make good for last year for Bailey, but we'll see.
You know what I am genuinely disappointed about? And this is not a match on the card. The fact that Io Sky is not wrestling Asuka at WrestleMania for the sanctity of Kairi Sane's freedom. The fact that we're not doing this at WrestleMania is nuts to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we're not, to be honest.
I have no idea. Like, we have been leaning so heavy into the Kairi Asuka Io thing, and Kairi potentially breaking away from Asuka, to then have WrestleMania card be put out and Io is not in a match. Asuka is not in a match. Kairi is not in a match. That is insane to me. Are they SmackDown superstars? No, because
they're all Raw.
They're all Raw. So I mean, like, and Io has been relegated to Rhea's damsel for the sake of the feud between her and Jade. Like, I don't think they're going to have a match on the card. And it's like, that is mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing. And because they're Raw superstars, why would you announce that match on SmackDown? They would have no involvement there. I mean, they were on SmackDown last week, I believe.
Io was.
Right, but that interaction
wanted a match with Jade.
Yes. But that interaction that Io had backstage with Asuka and Kairi was prior to their match on Raw this week.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think Asuka and Kairi are going to be on SmackDown to have any interaction with an Io who may show up unless they announce some last minute match, right? The night before WrestleMania goes on. Like, that will baffle me to no end. And we can talk about that at a later time, but
I'm a little disappointed that match is not happening at WrestleMania. I'm sure there is a reason. I don't know if it's a good one, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. It's certainly a match and story I am interested in, but
me too.
We don't have any WrestleMania predictions to make for it.
No. So the next match that we're going to cover for night 1 of WrestleMania 42, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu in an unsanctioned match. So technically, this match doesn't actually exist because it's not sanctioned. But we're going to watch it, and Skeens.
It exists, just maybe not officially on WrestleMania.
It's not officially on WrestleMania, so when we look back, they shouldn't even cover
It's not right. It's not promoted by WWE. They're just kind enough to let them do it.
They're kind enough to let them wrestle in front of the fans and get a paycheck, but WrestleMania has no real involvement. WWE has no real involvement besides paying them, promoting them, and putting them in front of, got it. Understood. Done and done. So, Skeens, lead us off here. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in his unsanctioned match. I feel like they've done a decent job with this build. The backstage segments have been okay, but I have thoughts, and I'm not entirely sure if I know who I would put over in this situation. Actually, I do, but it would
Well,
suck.
I do.
It
I
would
do.
suck if you put this person over because the other person would take another L at WrestleMania. But
Well,
your thoughts?
you just prepare yourself for that. Uh, so I think they've done an okay job. I mean, obviously, again, this isn't a top 3 or 4 match for them, seemingly. So it's been a lot of it's been a lot of brawling, and if they're not brawling or falling off some high structure to some unknown fate below, they have been cutting these backstage promos. Drew really hammering in on Jacob's felonious past and how he wasn't there to feed his family because he was in jail. They're seemingly hammering home on that. I think they've done a pretty good job. I've spoken about this before. I think we've done a good job getting Jacob kind of heated back up because he was really in a really popular place before he had to take time off for whatever dental procedure or injury he had. I don't remember exactly what it was. Something to do with his teeth or something when he was attacked by a mystery assailant, which we assume is Drew McIntyre, but we've never received 1,000% confirmation that it is.
True.
I think it'll be a fun match. I can't imagine Drew McIntyre does not deliver another quality performance at WrestleMania. I think Jacob Fatu is getting the win here. I think they need to build him back up to the world title contender he was before his unfortunate injury. Also, we have credible reports that Drew needs to take some time off to film Highlander. So this
True.
probably coincides with that, and Jacob gets a big WrestleMania win, and he can step up as kind of another world title contender on SmackDown, because I think we need that. Because if Drew is stepping away, and we've already kind of done the feud with Drew with both, we really haven't done it completely with Orton, but we've kind of exhausted it with Cody. We have Orton. We need someone else in the title picture, and it looks like this is Jacob Fatu's ascent to that spot. And I'm looking forward to the match. I am. I think it'll be just one of those crazy, big, wild brawls. We'll go out into the crowd. We may go backstage. We'll do some crazy stuff. Someone will jump off somewhere they shouldn't, and we'll get quite the moment, I think.
One can only dream. One can only hope and dream that they do all those things. I think we're obviously going to get that stuff because, you don't list this as an unsanctioned match if you have no intention of doing the most within the match. You brought up a really good point, and I did not take that into consideration when I was originally thinking about this. And originally I was going to say that it would suck if Jacob won because Drew would have to take another L. Another L at WrestleMania, and he is like the consistent loser in these feuds. But he is going away to film Highlander. And so I know we got that before that he was going away to film Highlander, and then he was back.
True.
So
yeah,
I think maybe it was like delays on
set. I think they do have to film it at some point.
At some point, you know what I mean? Like they have to fulfill their contractual obligation to make this film. And so, yes, I've heard those rumors as well, and I totally forgot about them. And so with that being said, I am going to agree with you here. I think this is going to be a crazy match with a lot of crazy spots, and there's definitely going to be someone donning a crimson mask or two. And
Jacob got a little color on SmackDown this past week. So
Jacob got a new tattoo.
Did he? I did not notice that.
Yeah, it's a tattoo on his left arm. I think he's starting to get his
tribal tats.
His tribal tats. But it's pretty significantly sized too. I think it's like from his wrist to his inner elbow. But it's like one side. And you know what I mean? But it's it's pretty significant. But I think Jacob's probably going to beat Drew, and Drew's going to go away for a while so he can film this movie, and he will pop back up at some point once his filming is done. I would hope Drew would pop up in someone else's feud ending, and so we get Drew in a different wrestling capacity than going after Jacob again. But yes, I am in agreement with you. I think that there's been a really good build to this. I've enjoyed Drew's jailhouse segments. Those were fun. Watching those segments made me really yearn for a older time in WWE's history where they did more stuff like that.
They've been cool.
Yeah, it was cool, and I wish they would do more of these like on location type vignettes and segments, because I think they work well when they're done well, and I think WWE is capable of doing these video packages justice while putting them directly into feuds that need them and could use them well. So WWE, like, please let the people in the truck cook and give us more of this stuff, because I like that. And this kind of helped the feud that, in my opinion, kind of needed it. The backstage segment stuff was fun. The brawling, the night that they kept fighting from the moment Drew pulled Jacob through that windshield to the moment they went off the side of that building was incredibly fun. And, you know, this means that they've got to raise the stakes here a little bit. And I genuinely hope that everyone leaves similarly to the way they came in, and that there are no injuries, because I feel like they're going to have to raise the bar a little bit. This is obviously not the most dangerous match of these two nights, because there's another match, I think it's on night 2, that boy, my butt cheeks are going to be clenched for a lot of that match, because it's going to be nuts for sure. But yeah, I'm picking Jacob for this one as well. So we are on the same page about this one. Next match, the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. I'm going to go ahead and jump and lead off on this one.
Go ahead.
So weeks ago, I made a prediction about this match. My prediction then was that Becky Lynch was going to beat AJ Lee for the championship. I said then that I am not sure how long AJ Lee is going to be sticking around, that AJ Lee is not doing a whole lot of appearances, even though she's holding the title, and she's wrestling even less. Mm-hmm. And it would make more sense for Becky Lynch to win this title. It does more for her at this point than it does for AJ Lee. That was what I said a few weeks ago. My stance today is exactly the same stance that I had a few weeks ago. I think Becky Lynch would utilize this better. I think beating AJ Lee is the right thing. I don't know if I am very confident in AJ Lee being around much longer after WrestleMania. I think she's done what she came here to do.
She's not around now. What do you mean
saying?
After WrestleMania? She hadn't been around before WrestleMania. Apparently.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I feel like she's probably going to be, if she's going to drop this title, I think, because I think she is done. Like, I think she's done. I think she had a limited number of dates that she signed with them for, right? And I think that it culminates at WrestleMania, because I don't think she's...
Which is strange, and I brought it up before, but they made it like such a big deal when she signed. That was like, oh, this isn't a part-time thing. Like, I'm here for a few years, and I'm here, you know, on a regular basis, and she just hasn't been, which is odd because of what they put into it.
So I have my own speculation, Skeener, as to why I think that is.
Think she sucked more than they thought she did?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that would be the reason. That's kind of what,
if I'm being completely honest, and I mean that with all due respect to AJ Lee, I love AJ Lee. But I think that the expectation that they had for her was nostalgic.
Yeah,
and
I'm kind of with you, to be honest.
You know what I mean? And I think bringing her back, I think that the pops in the beginning were real. I think that fans enjoyed seeing her back in the ring, but I think that the way that they booked her out was in anticipation of this greater AJ Lee that either does not exist or has just simply not been lived up to. Whatever the case may be, I don't think that AJ Lee goes past WrestleMania. But that was my stance from the beginning, right? Was that I don't think she goes past WrestleMania, because I don't know if I was ever really convinced that she was going to hang around very long. Like, the proof was just not in the pudding, despite how they described it, right? But now I'm even more convinced because we are knocking on the door of night one, right? And we have not seen AJ Lee in the ring wrestling since
Elimination Chamber
when she won the title.
Mm-hmm. Which, to be fair, I don't think we've seen Becky either. But
this is true. But at the very same time, their feud is very specific in between the two of them, right? Why would you be entering anyone into Becky's orbit non-champion? You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't make a lot of sense because Becky was the champion before AJ Lee. So she's essentially number one contender now. If we're going by kayfabe rules, right? Kayfabe rules would dictate that if anyone beat Becky Lynch, they should have a claim to being the new number one contender, right? So that would mean that either you're going to introduce somebody else into this feud, or every person that Becky Lynch gets into the ring with, they're going to lose, right? Who do you feed to her besides Maxine? And we've already done that. Or Natalia.
Who?
We've already done that.
Were those people that used to be on the
show?
So
they were wrestlers at one point. They were wrestlers at one point prior to the road to WrestleMania. I'm sure they will show back up after WrestleMania, but as of right now, they've been, AWOL, MIA, or, something. But yeah, I mean, like, who do you feed? You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you feed to Becky and have her win the matches? No one. And so everyone's tied up into feuds. Everybody who had been interacting with Becky at some point are either in a tag team now, right, and tied up into their own thing, or you don't have anybody to feed to her that she hasn't already beat. So she's just playing the best that she can in this feud that has no real competition in the ring. And so I just think that keeping that title on AJ Lee just seems crazy. So you put it back on Becky. You have that WrestleMania match, right? I think AJ Lee thanks the fans either online or she does it in person, right?
Oh,
and I think AJ Lee rides off to the sunset.
Done, gone. Wow.
Oh yeah, that was my whole thought from the beginning, was that I don't think AJ Lee goes past WrestleMania. I don't think she's got those dates on the calendar.
That's interesting. I could certainly see that. I'm not sure. But I will say this has been my most disappointing build.
Okay.
And that there hasn't been a lot. And I had higher hopes. I'm not going to belabor what you said about AJ because I think it's clear I agree, like, that it hasn't lived up to maybe what we thought. And were those fair expectations? Who knows? I'm not going to debate that point today, but yeah, it's just been disappointing because we know Becky can do so much more.
Sure.
If she's there, she can be the best part of the show every week if you give her time. And she just hasn't been on the show. And I agree with you. I think Becky takes the title back here and we kind of get things, quote unquote, back on track, as our OTC would say. We get this place back to where we want it to in regards to the Intercontinental title, the Women's Intercontinental title. And yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm not sold on AJ being done, but I hope this is done because it's been disappointing. And I think Becky needs to be in a position where she can be on the show more often.
Yeah. I guess for me, dude, like, I just can't see where AJ Lee goes on the WWE card if she's not the champion, right? Like, she's not going into a tag team, right? She's certainly not going into the world championship picture, right? If you're talking about just from the kayfabe rules like earlier, she's not going into the world championship picture after a loss to Becky, right? Losing a title doesn't then elevate you to a higher title. Like, that's not typically how that works. You'll typically have to go to the back of the line, which means you didn't have to wrestle to work your way up to the top. And she ain't wrestling. So, I don't see where she goes, you know what I'm saying, after this. And to harken back to the very first thing that we brought up, right? Love AJ Lee. But I just don't think that this run with AJ has been paying off the way that the company expected it to, right? And I think because of that, I wonder if either the company made a mistake, which, if I'm being honest, and this is not me shilling for the company, I don't think the company made a mistake. I don't think that AJ Lee ever had that many dates on the calendar. I think that to sell it to the fans that this was not going to be a fly-by-night thing and for people to get invested in a WrestleMania match with Becky Lynch, you had to give off the illusion that this is not a like one and done. You know what I mean? And so you pitch it like AJ Lee is here. And to be fair, even though she has not been wrestling and she has not been defending the Intercontinental Championship, she has been technically in WWE competing prior to, at Elimination Chamber, and heading into WrestleMania for at least what? She debuted
September, because it was the build to WrestlePalooza in the mixed tag match.
Right? So, I mean, she's been September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8 months. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the better part of a year. So she's given time technically, but we just haven't seen her in the ring. We haven't really seen her competing. And the things that she's been in have kind of been mid. And so I don't know if she ever had those dates on the calendar. Maybe it was more time on the calendar than dates. But I think she's going to drop the title to Becky. I think Becky's going to move on to other things. And I think AJ is going to bid her farewell and go back to doing what she was doing before, because she seemed pretty happy doing. Like, this never came across to me as AJ opining to get back to wrestling. This almost came off to me as AJ Lee giving something to the fans who have been crying for her return, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. And it was a great way to do it, the mixed tag match at WrestlePalooza, right, with her husband. That was a great way to do that. And so you give the fans what it is they want. Yeah. And now she's
I wouldn't be upset if that was it, to be honest. You're convincing me. I like the idea. I don't know if it's real, but I like the idea.
Well, we shall see. So, I mean, your pick is Becky?
Becky, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's any way.
So we are in alignment there as well. Now, this feud, speaking of women's championship, this feud has been, I don't
up
think,
and down for me.
You know where I'm going with this, right? You know what matches next.
I mean, right? I don't know where you're going. Well, there's 2 matches left, and I think you're saving the main event to last.
Absolutely.
So, Stephanie and Liv.
Absolutely.
Which I think had a lull. I think it started off hot. It kind of lost some steam, and then I think they brought it back.
Yeah.
Ever since they killed it for me, and I still will say it's a weird-ass segment where Stephanie was mean to Liv and Liv cried. That was weird. I still think it was weird, but these last few weeks, and man, how good was fucking Liv on Monday?
Yes.
Like, looking legitimately out of her mind crazy to get
She
to
did
Stephanie.
A great job. She did a great job at that. Yeah. Now, listen, the Liv Morgan music video threw me off.
No, it wasn't great, but it wasn't
I thought I was watching Britney Spears from like the you know what I'm saying, like back in the day.
Wasn't good.
No,
it was not good.
No. But I will say this: this is a telltale sign, in my opinion, just as a former music guy. This is a telltale sign of when you have celebrity, money, influence, and clout, and you can make things move that shouldn't move. You know what I'm saying? Like, This is going to people, I'm a big deal, I'm who I am, I have money, I have the backing, and they're like, hell yeah, queen, let's do this.
It seems that WWE paid for it a little bit, because it's
it's
on their channel, and it's like, oh, this is the Liv Morgan debut. So, like,
it makes sense.
It's kind of like what they did with, they've done this before. They bankrolled, like, superstars' albums. They're just like,
this seemed out of nowhere. Like,
it did.
This came out of nowhere.
It really was out of nowhere.
Brother, this caught me off guard so much that when it was happening, I did not realize that this was still on WWE programming. Like, I thought it was an ad in between. Like,
well, we got a little like second to 3-second teaser last Raw, and I was like, "What in the world is that?" And then I went on social media, and people were like, "Oh, that's the Liv Morgan music video." I'm like, "The what?" And then we were treated to it this week.
Brother, let me tell you something. The fact that you just told me that, it reemphasizes what I just said, right? Because if they teased it last week,
it was very quick. It was right when they were coming back from commercial.
Bro, it
was just like her butt walking away from the camera.
Bro, if that is the case, I thought it was an ad.
Right. They didn't say anything, but it like the camera work and it playing right before the show went back. I'm like, oh, this is a vignette for like a gimmick
Somebody
change
new.
or something. Maybe Emelina's
Oh,
back or
now I
something.
remember it.
Yeah.
I remember
And I was
seeing
like,
that.
what is that? And they didn't even mention it, but then I
I
found
didn't
out
even
what it
connect
was,
those
and I was like,
dots.
oh, what is going on?
I didn't
And
even connect those dots. And, oh, maybe it's like a gimmick change.
that's what I thought it was.
I legit thought it was an ad that got cut off. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was an ad that got cut off. It totally went over my head.
It didn't get cut off, that's for sure.
Bro, they could have cut it off. They could have
It
left that
wasn't.
out.
It was not great. It was
No,
not great.
I tell you what, you could tell that WWE produced and shot that because it looked like a long promo vid. When I realized it was Liv Morgan, I was like, okay, got it. And I'm waiting for it to end because, like, one, it wasn't that great. But two, I was waiting for it to end because I thought that it was like a promo vid.
Yeah.
And then it kept going, and I was like, oh, wait, this is like a music video. This is like a legit music video. Listen, I'll say this, and then we can talk about the actual feud. If this turns into a gimmick change where Liv Morgan believes herself to be like a pop star, I'm here for it. Goofy wrestling.
I don't think it's a gimmick change. I think Gianna Daddio thinks she can be a pop star.
Listen, the name on that record is Liv Morgan. And listen, if Liv Morgan takes this with her gimmick currently, and it's just like I'm a pop star, I'm also, and it's like runs with, and the crowd's like, the song sucked. But she's like, everybody loves my song. It's topping the charts in India. And, oh my gosh, I would love that. Just use it to overinflate her ego in a way that's not real. I would love that. It adds angles and layers. Don't lean too heavy into it, right? Don't make it your full gimmick, but add it as a layer to like how Becky did with the
book.
No, when Becky was like, when she was talking about like I'm like the best wrestler or something like, and everyone says it. Yes,
I bet she still says that. She just hasn't been on TV for weeks.
Facts. You're speaking facts, sir. If she used it like that, I'm down. This feud, I don't think I have vacillated more between caring and not caring.
Right. I'm on the same page with you.
Than with this feud. And honestly, I've liked what the build has looked like the last few episodes of Raw, SmackDown, wherever it is that they've shown this. Part of it has been because like some of these segments have looked pretty gnarly. Like the knot on Liv's head after she and Roxanne knocked skulls. I hope Roxanne is okay because she literally just came back from injury and now we haven't seen her again. And so, that would kind of suck. But I think the unhinged aspect of Liv was really fun to watch. I was thrown off by the music video that came right after it.
I guess.
That kind of.
I had watched it earlier in the day, and so I did not watch it again on the broadcast. Okay. I fast forwarded because I was a little late getting home. So honestly, it works out well. I've timed it so like I can start a little later because now that it's getting towards summer and I'm on Central Time, I'm probably not going to be home a lot by 7 p.m. I probably won't finish up my lessons until 7, so I can start later and then just fast forward through all the commercials and music videos, if you will, and kind of end right on time too. So it works out nicely.
Dear God, WWE, don't make this a thing. Okay. I don't
They let Lillian Garcia make an album.
Listen,
Elias got to make an EP.
We used to have WWE the music volumes.
That's what this is. I believe this is on the label.
I don't want this back. Please don't bring this back. That was a period in time, okay? And I appreciate it for what it is, okay? We would not have got Word Life. We would not have got
you're talking about WWE Originals?
Yeah, so I got that CD, right? It's up there. It's up there, WWE Originals, right? I got that. But even before that, they had like the WWE the Music Volume 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
And then we got the originals. And then
the originals was all the superstars doing their own songs.
Oh, they were doing brand new songs.
Yeah. They had
the music was their theme
Booker
songs,
did one and used it Yeah, the music was the theme songs. Then
Right.
WWE Originals
Were original
was
songs.
that is where Basic Thugonomics debuted.
Yes.
But don't forget, you had a lot of other folks.
Oh, I know.
Kurt Angle was dropping the track. Eddie and
Yeah.
Chavo,
Yeah, we don't need that.
Rikishi, I believe, sang a little saucy R&B love song.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Booker T, he used his for a while. The
Did
Can
he?
You Dig It? Yeah.
Huh.
Stone Cold did the interludes. I'm trying to think who else was on there. It doesn't matter, but it was something. It
We
was
don't need
something
that
else.
back. I don't need this Liv Morgan song video to be the start.
Well, they said it's her new entrance theme, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they said that.
It sounded like her normal entrance theme at first.
It starts. You're right. It has the. That's why I think it definitely is, because it starts the same. It has the same little like signature.
Yeah.
But then other things happen that are not of the same quality.
We've talked more about this music video than we have about this feud entirely. I'm not even talking about like on this episode. I'm talking about like in general. And
for a while, yeah.
That kind of speaks to where this is at for me, right? I will be honest. This is probably the hardest match for me to call the winner for this, because I think I care the least. I feel like my criticisms about Stephanie Vaquer have been warranted. I wouldn't necessarily say I think that they are the end all be all, for certainly not that, but I think they're warranted because this feud has been led by unmitigated rage, attacks on people, and it shined because of that. But I also sometimes wonder, like I've said before, where are the reserve tanks for Stephanie? Like, where do you carry feuds if they're not like this with her?
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
You know, and I feel like Liv at this point, with the storylines as they are culminating, maybe she could do more with this. I think she would lose more to Stephanie if she took a loss here. I think Stephanie, her appeal, I think could probably survive losing the Women's World Championship and putting her in other scenes with other people where she can get a little bit more fleshed out as a character. And I think Liv would do more with this right now. So if I'm making my selection now, and this is a prediction episode, so I'm making it right now, I'm going to say Liv Morgan defeats Stephanie Vaquer and takes the Women's World Championship.
I think so too. I'm with you on the winner because I think it's going to be a big deal when she wears that title to the Grammys next year. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a good one for WWE. But this feud it's been strange because when it began, it seemed like it was so sure that somehow this involves Raquel in the match and Raquel's going to turn face and this is going to break up the Judgment Day. But then for maybe injury reasons, maybe not, all the Judgment Day angle kind of went away from this one and went to other stuff. So it's been kind of weird. It's gotten to a place where I'm excited again. I'm excited to see what these two do. I think Stephanie's great. She has something. I think Liv is a complete superstar. I love some Liv Morgan. Her singing abilities aside, I think she's great at her day job, which is being a WWE superstar.
True.
And I think this could be a really good match. I think Liv's going to win. Seemingly, you would think underhanded. At one point, I thought Liv was setting up for a big face turn in her comeback. I don't think that's happening now, but I'm with you. I think it's time to see what Stephanie can do without the title and see what Liv can do with the title. And I think Liv's going to win this one.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're in agreement here. I feel like Liv Morgan may show up at the red carpet of the Grammys, but she's certainly not getting in. And she's certainly not being nominated for it. I mean, maybe a Razzie, but you know.
This is just her first song. Maybe the second is her hit.
Listen, if you know what? I hope we don't get in the second. Love you, Giada, Daddy, yo.
They said it was her debut.
Grand opening, grand closing. Grand opening, grand closing. So this leaves us only one more match for night one. And I'm glad we're here because
the main event.
man, like you talk about matches that have just taken a hard turn into places that I personally didn't think we were headed. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton with Pat McAfee in his corner for the undisputed WWE Championship. I originally thought that Pat McAfee's inclusion in this was kind of cool. I said last week in the Lost episode, which by the way is the most stellar episode we've ever recorded. I felt like it gave me real WCW NWO vibes, particularly when Pat and Randy were both in the ring and they were beating up Cody and they both had Randy's t-shirt on. It gave real NWO vibes. Now, the segment that has most recently happened had Pat McAfee showing up to the arena after Jelly Roll was looking for him, and Pat shows up and the camera is squarely on Pat. He gets confronted.
I think it's important to note that first Cody's looking for Pat McAfee.
Oh, very true, very true. And not Randy.
And Nick Aldis tells him that the word has come down from up above that no one in WWE is to touch Pat McAfee.
This is true. It does make you wonder where that came from, that word came from. However,
and they're certainly playing into the meta aspect that the maybe true, maybe not true reports that came out that we discussed more on the Lost episode, that the inclusion of Pat McAfee in this story was a directive from the tip top of TKO and Pat McAfee's agent, Ari Emanuel, who is the head of the TKO board, possibly, allegedly, all those words.
That part of this whole thing to me has felt like probably the most internet dirt sheetest part of this entire thing. And the part that has been the hardest for me to even entertain. Right? Because it's so far away from this feud. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so far away. But then again, where this feud is at currently is so far away from where we were when this feud first got started. Like Correct. It was only 2 weeks ago. It was only 2 weeks ago that we were talking about Cody giving Randy the go ahead to let the voices be heard, and that he was getting concertoed with a set of steel stairs by Randy, who was justifying it because it was not supposed to be Cody here. It was supposed to be Drew. We've taken such a hard pivot away from all of that. It almost seems like it's not even part of the same angle. It seems like it was a part of a previous angle that is now taking a back seat to this new angle. And we are, this is Wednesday, recording this. So Thursday, Friday, we are less than 4 days away from night one where this match is going to take place. And this is a Raw angle. So they're not going to revisit this on SmackDown, I don't think. No, they are going to. This is SmackDown. Angle. Yeah, so we have one more week of this. We'll get one more episode of SmackDown. I don't know what you could introduce on Friday that would make this make sense. You could introduce something that could make it make sense, but it would totally be shoehorned into a feud that already looks like the passenger in the car grabbed a wheel and yanked it hard. And it already doesn't make a lot of sense. And to throw something in there to tie in why Pat McAfee was shoehorned into this thing seems like it would be adding stuff for adding stuff's sake, and it would just water down this match more than it already has been watered down. But I feel like you're past the point of no return now. And so it's either you go into WrestleMania with this kind of fucked up angle for a match that we want to see, or you continue to fuck it up further to try and make it make sense. And it's just, why include him at all is the point I'm trying to get to. And I have never been, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Skeens, I have never been more confused this close to WrestleMania about why a booking decision was made than this one. And I don't know where the title goes because none of it makes a lot of sense. But I'm going to take the easy way out here, and I'm going to let you take first stab at this.
Oh, okay.
Because I have no clue.
So this is pretty interesting because we'll on the Lost episode last week's I think you talked about it. You at that point seemed more pro Pat McAfee's inclusion in this, or at least liked it a little more than you do now. And
Yes.
I was somewhere in the middle with hesitance on give me an explanation from Randy Orton as to why he is listening to Pat McAfee.
Sure.
And so you've kind of turned the other way. And to be honest, so have I, in terms that we didn't get that reason from Randy Orton. But to me, everything you said, withstanding and acknowledged that, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense as of now, and that this feud didn't need it. But I would be lying if I told you I didn't love everything Pat McAfee did last Friday.
Mm.
I
Okay.
thought he was a fantastic heel. I thought the people fucking hate him and hate that he's here. And I spoke last week on the episode that no one saw that I don't believe really in the existence of go away heat, as people would say. I think there's go away silence, and that happens on SmackDown to some people. But those people hate that he's there. And for the first time since they started this feud, when they held the title up and walked out with it, those people were booing their asses off. And regardless of whether or not it makes total sense and was the best way to get there, maybe that's the only way you get to that end, that Randy Orton's holding up the title and the entire arena is pissed off and booing. Does that mean they won't cheer him in the WrestleMania match? No, probably not. But I think they have something here with Pat, because I think Pat is a great performer. I think even as a fan of Pat McAfee, I can acknowledge that there are times that I even fall into this category. He is very dislikable. If you want to dislike him, it's not hard to do. And I think there's a lot of people that fall into that now. I'm interested to see where it goes. I still do, I think, in my heart of hearts, would I have booked this or foreseen this? No. But I don't have the job, and I've never been one to, it's not even crying over spilt milk, but I order, when you watch, you kind of order a mystery box, and if I don't get what I want, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to enjoy what's in front of me. I think Pat has knocked this out of the park. Whether or not he was the person to put in there at this time, that's the debate. What we're getting, I think, is good. And I'm more receptive to it. One, because of how good Pat has been. Two, because of the sheer reaction to it. I think getting legitimate vitriol on a heel is always a good thing, because people aren't turning off the TV. They're not going to not watch WrestleMania. Even if people say that, they're not going to. So we can dispel that he's going to actually drive people away. We can dispel that part. But also, I think this is chapter 1 in Cody versus Randy. And we've talked about that before, that we think this goes on a little longer. And I think we can phase the Pat McAfee part of it out later, because I think Pat McAfee in this, and his involvement in this meta storyline, whatever you want to call it, has other places to go, because he is very involved in a war of words with CM Punk. And you want to talk about a crowd reaction that will be like totally one-sided? Book Pat McAfee versus CM Punk and see how much the crowd boos Pat McAfee and loves CM Punk. But I get that's aside from this. When it gets to Saturday night, that show is ending with Randy Orton holding his 15th world title. I think him and Cody go back and forth for the better part of this next year. They don't have to stay involved in a feud for the whole year, but I certainly don't think this is done Saturday. It's not done by Backlash. There's too much history, and I think we'll get back to it. But the story that's been told, while it's not what anyone expected, while it's maybe not what I preferred, I have enjoyed it because of just the sheer volume of emotion it has gotten out of people. And I think that's when wrestling's at its best.
Okay. So, Skeeter, I respect your opinion. And
You don't have
I
to. But I
No, I
appreciate
do.
that.
I genuinely respect your opinion, and I can understand where you're coming from. And to an extent, I agree. Where I disagree, however, I feel like is very strong, right? I'm trying to rationalize my thoughts as I'm listening to you describe this, and you described it very well. But what kept popping in my mind, Skeeter, was why is the majority of this conversation going into WrestleMania 42 about Pat McAfee? Like, why are we talking about Pat McAfee being an incredible heel in a feud that's not his? He's not even in this match. Why are we having conversation about the great back and forth between CM Punk and Pat McAfee? And Pat McAfee is not wrestling. I get it. From the perspective of, if I'm thinking long term here, Randy walking away with his 15th championship under what can be considered by some as the shittiest way to do it would cement him as a heel in a way
To be
that
fair,
would
I'm not
prevent-
even sure if it'd be the shittiest in the last 2 WrestleManias.
I mean, look, I get Cena's. But the point of Cena's was to make him a heel and make him to take this figure that to a certain extent the fans are going to cheer for, right? And try to orchestrate the boos. It is the reverse Roman Reigns. It's reverse Big Dog Roman, right? Where the company tried to set something in place to orchestrate a reaction, right? And it didn't work with Roman, and to an extent, it worked with Cena so far as, Cena was willing to go with it. But with this Randy thing, I can see how the fans booing this, and let me jump to this first and I'll continue what I'm saying, right? I am not a proponent of the idea that the only real heat that you get from a fan that is outside of the unwritten contractual obligation between the fans and how they interact with the show is apathy. I don't agree with the idea that silence is the only true, genuine response from the fans. I think fans can genuinely boo shit they don't like. I think they genuinely booed Big Dog Roman. As much as the company tried to make the fans love Roman Reigns, I think the boos were genuine because they did not want to see Roman, and they booed because they did not want to see this presentation of the product, right? I think that sometimes those boos can be protest. They can be protesting and trying to let people know, not necessarily intentionally, but they're showing that, hey, our displeasure with this is genuine. I think that in this scenario, that genuine response is also rolling in line with the way that the company wanted this to play out, right? I think
that's where I'd say it's very different than the Roman Reigns thing.
Agreed. I don't disagree, right? I think it is different in that way.
If you can get people to legitimately dislike seeing the heel, they will love whoever kicks his ass and sends him away.
True, but the heel here isn't Randy. The heel is Pat McAfee.
I agree.
When Pat McAfee says, if you win this match, I'll never show up again. Who is Randy? Who is Randy? Who is Randall Keith Orton in this feud? Because it doesn't seem like he is the centerpiece of this match. It seems like Pat McAfee is the centerpiece of this match.
That's a very fair point. That's the one. That's the piece where I'm like, okay, I still don't get this, because you're right. It is like Pat McAfee is the centerpiece now.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like,
and we've got one more show to rectify it. But you're right. I don't know if you can or do it. But right now, you are correct in that Pat McAfee is the centerpiece of that.
That's where
how much that bothers you, I think, is how much the whole thing is going to bother you.
Well, and I think, and so, to wrap up what I was saying, right? Like, this is the reason why I feel like I've had a change of heart since the last time we spoke about this, because it was that one line that changed it for me. Because I thought in the moment when he said it, Skeeter, I thought to myself, why the fuck would I care? Why do I care if you're going to not show up again? And then I'm just like, why are you shoehorning this into this feud? And then I'm retrospectively looking back at all the things that has been shoehorned in, right? And I'm thinking, matter of fact, why is Pat McAfee here in the first place, right? Why is Jelly Roll now being inserted as fodder for this feud? What happened to Randy versus Cody? What happened to that great storyline that we were building to? Now, if this is in service of making Randy the person who would go to such a despicable length to win his 15th title, like by hook or by crook, don't care how I get it, because all I care about at the end of the day, right, is how many championships can I hang on my wall, right? And you lead to something, which he did say, right? Then I think this is something that I, as a fan, will appreciate more later on, right? But that delayed gratification of appreciation doesn't change how I feel in the moment, right? Just because I see where this is going doesn't mean that I'm looking at this and thinking, because I see where this is headed, this is cool because it makes sense. This is odd. This is so odd. And I feel like the feud here has a foregone conclusion, right? And talking through it with you, I feel like where I came into this not knowing who's going to walk away with the championship here, I think I'm absolutely on board with you now. It has to be Randy. It has to be Randy, right? That means Pat McAfee's not going away.
No.
That means he's hanging around.
He's not going to get to talk all this shit on CM Punk and have CM Punk not get his hands on him.
But at the very same time, I don't want to see Pat McAfee versus CM Punk. Fuck that. Like, I don't want to see that.
I think you're going to, so.
Brother, I don't want to see that. I did not want to see Pat McAfee versus Gunther.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think Pat McAfee, I think the non-wrestler, for the most part, works better as a heel. And that's why it's a little different for me. And also, and like I don't want to belabor it, but a little bit of this is maybe I have placed faith in the possibly misguided idea that I think if the idea and the plan was so shitty and not good, that I have faith that Randy Orton would have told them no. Because I feel like he's the type of guy that probably would be like, no, that sucks. Why don't we not do that? Where John Cena is like the admitted company guy where he just goes, yep, I'll try to make it work. I feel like if this sucked ass, Randy Orton would be like, nah, man, that's
I think, though, here's the thing, though, right? Mm-hmm. I think you have to then ask the question, because I think the question begs to be asked, which is, what then is the metric? What is the metric for whether this is good or whether it sucks? Because if you're judging it based on the story that you're telling, everything's going to be good. Like, if it services the story, then everything's going to be good. If you wrote it so that the fans are supposed to boo, and they're booing, and for whatever reason they're booing, does that then make it good because it's working? Because if that's your metric, I don't know how you ever measure anything as being good or not. That's always been a subjective thing, right? And if it's a subjective thing, right, it almost feels like you're reverse engineering. You're not you, but like it almost feels like WWE is trying to reverse engineer something. And not that they're doing it in retrospect, but I think that the intention was to get Randy booed. I think you're getting Randy booed for the reason that Pat McAfee is inserted into this thing. And generally speaking, it's kind of making the storyline that people are buying into not particularly work right now, with the idea that maybe they will bite later, that there's genuine heat coming towards Pat McAfee because Pat McAfee is unlikable in this situation and people don't really want him there, right? But it's also the story. It's like the story is meta in that way, right? And when you're blending those lines, it makes me wonder, how am I supposed to look at this as being good or not? Right? Because the shit that people genuinely don't like is part of the story. But if you genuinely don't like it, is it good? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the question.
I'll give you a great analogy, and then we can make our predictions to move on, right? But I think we already made our predictions, right?
Yeah, we both made our predictions.
If I'm making you a cheeseburger, or better said, a pizza, because that's on brand. If I'm making you a pizza, Skeener, and I am intentionally making the pizza to taste like ass, to be disgusting as shit, and you eat the pizza and it's disgusting as shit to you, right? And I tell you, the whole point of this was to make you think this pizza was disgusting as shit. Who is determining whether or not the outcome was successful? Who is determining whether or not it was good? Because I could say
objectively, the outcome was good. You set out to accomplish what you did, and then in 2 months, I'm going to pay to see CM Punk kick your ass.
Right. But I'm the person who's
for
writing
that bad
this.
Pizza you made me.
I'm the person who's writing this saying it's good, right? I'm the one who's saying it's good. Who out there is saying that they like this? I mean,
there are like 47 people that vote on Cage Match every week. So them.
I mean, listen, to the 47, I say, hey, listen, welcome to the Lariat Lounge. I hope you're listening. Like, share, subscribe, all the places. But seriously, though, like, whose voices are being heard that are saying that this is good? It's in service of the story. I think if what you laid out is true, which I genuinely hope it is, because I think there was a great bit of forecasting that you put out there, right? If this is in service of a greater arc for Cody and Randy, right? And this is how you build Randy into the heel that is willing to do whatever it takes to get to 15, right? So much so that he would not only backstab his good friend, but he would also tank WrestleMania's main event for night 1, right? Do all these things that the fans don't like because all he cares about are the championships on his wall.
Is this them taking another swing at ruining wrestling and doing it in a different way?
Under the guise of saving it
that way? Yeah, with a guy they know isn't going to quit on him like Travis Scott. Because when you put it out that way, it kind of sounds like that to me. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but...
I mean, listen, if WWE Unreal Season 3 comes out and we find out that this was part of a story arc, I would genuinely, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I would genuinely start questioning WWE's writing team. Like, maybe Michael Hayes needs to sit this one out. Because this is so meta convoluted that it's almost like it was so right, it's wrong. Like it works so well in its bad story that like I'm trying to understand who this was in service of. If it's in service of telling stories, then you've succeeded, right? But it's like if your story sucks, if your story sucks, if you write a shitty story and tell me you intended to write a shitty story, then you succeeded at your goal at telling a shitty story, sir, because it's shitty. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like this is the exact conversation we would have had post-Mania last year.
Probably.
If I had come on a couple episodes early. So the last thing I'll say with it is that, like, what is this my preferred direction? No.
Yeah.
Am I super stoked they threw Pat McAfee in this feud? No. But I would be lying to you if I didn't say, like, when I watched SmackDown back, because I was on that trip, so I watched SmackDown a little later, that when I was watching his promo, if I was not just smiling at how good he was at being an asshole heel. Like, I just was. And it's what we're getting, and I'm not going to ruin WrestleMania for myself by being overly upset that this is happening, because I still get to watch Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton go at it, and what I think is going to be Randy Orton's 15th world title victory.
So I don't disagree with the part of this not ruining WrestleMania for me, right? And it doesn't particularly ruin the match for me, right? But I do think that if WWE has a plan for this, right? Long-term storytelling, booking here that we just can't see.
I hope they do.
If this is the plan, I'm going to say this, and I'm saying it just for posterity's sake, so that we can go back and listen to it if the events play out the way they may.
We can go back and watch the video.
Absolutely. Check it out on YouTube. Subscribe. WWE, you better hope this shit works. Like, that's all I'm going to say is that, like, you better hope that the story that you're trying to tell later on lands the way you want it to, right? Because that will be the tail of the tape. That will determine how we look back on this, right? Either we'll look back on this as like, this was a really crazy opening to what turned out to be this really great story, right? Or this was the harbinger for what was to come, because WWE is not immune to telling a stinker story. You know what I'm saying? And listen, you can never tell what's going to happen that could derail a story, i.e. John Cena last year, right? That was set up to be something great, and then things derailed it. We took turns, and then we were happy to see his final match and all, because we're all Cena fans. But we look back on that story now, and we're like, that story was not great. It was not great at all, right? And they had plans, and plans changed. But they started those plans on such a weird spot because The Rock wasn't there. Travis Scott showed up instead, right? And they went along with it thinking that the buyout was going to be at the end. The payoff was going to be at the end, right? And you weren't able to get there. And now we look back on it and think that shit was shitty. It sucked. And so I hope, just based on recent history, right, that this pays off, because that will tell whether or not this was good or whether it was poo-poo water.
So are you with me that Orton's winning?
Yes. I think Orton's winning. I don't see how you move forward with Randy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't win here. It's a lot to invest in Randy for him to lose, right? And it's like, where do you go? Because Pat McAfee, quote unquote, gone, right? And then what? Randy's like, I want another shot because, like, if I was Cody, I would never give it to him. Screw you. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I think Randy's got to win this, and then Cody's got to be on the chase again because he's better on the chase anyway. And so that's how you build to whenever they, do their blow off here. But that will be how we end night one, right? And then, unless you said, I'm not going to let this ruin it for WrestleMania for me, and it can't, right? One, because I'm still going to enjoy the match. But two, because the very first match we get on Sunday is Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi on the pre-show.
On the pre-show on ESPN.
Freaking pre-show on ESPN. ESPN doing my people dirty. But
I think you need to watch it on ESPN, and then
I will not. I will not. I will not give ESPN the satisfaction of my one view. Like they care. But Oba Femi will collide with Brock Lesnar. Now, I don't know if you guys can see back there. That's a preview of the thumbnails. First time I've done this. I'm previewing for you what the thumbnail is going to be. Okay. I don't know if you can see that photo. And I wish I could do cool video things and zoom in and show you what it is. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I will do a little insert right here. Boom. And you'll be able to see what the thumbnail is. But obviously, you'll be watching it on YouTube, so the thumbnail will already be there. But for those of you who are listening, it is this really cool image that I found on YouTube. Not YouTube. I found on Google that has Brock Lesnar head up with Oba Femi, and they are the size of kaiju, right? And they're coming at each other over a dilapidated Las Vegas. This is the match I am looking forward to the most over the entire weekend. I said it at the top of the show. I feel like this segment has been booked flawlessly. And I feel like we are setting the ground for the next big thing, pun intended. I think that Brock Lesnar got that moniker because of how WWE instilled their faith in him as being a pillar in the corner of their company, along with some other people who at the time they were building up to carry the company forward through the next 15 years, right? And I think that they are going to do the exact same thing they did for Brock with Oba. And they're going to go into this match. It's going to be competitive for a moment, but only a moment. And then I think that Oba is going to destroy Brock, and he's going to beat Brock at WrestleMania. And you are going to crown the next big thing. And Oba Femi is going to be the Brock Lesnar, barring injury, you know what I'm saying, and longevity for the next 10 years at least. And I think it's appropriate. I agree with a lot of the things that Paul Heyman said in his promo segment during Oba's contract signing. We haven't seen anybody really land like this. You know what I'm saying? In a very long time. And in a way that is very Lesnar-esque, right? Just in his size, his presence, the way the fans take to him. You know what I mean? It's like there's a video clip of a guy who is doing like, when Brock Lesnar comes out and he does his little, his little jumping, and then he does the foot stomp thing, right? There's a clip from, I don't know, maybe it's been like 8-9 years ago. Some guy is in the crowd and he's going, ugh. And they use it in so many WWE promo segments, right? But it's of a guy doing the Brock Lesnar thing, right? Mm-hmm. Everywhere you look when Oba's music hits, right?
Yep.
Everybody's doing the walk. Everybody is doing the walk, right? They're doing the Oba huh chants. And that was all organic. The Oba and the huh together in synchronization, That was organic. WWE didn't do that, right? I don't think anyone has captured the imagination of WWE fans quite like this since Brock Lesnar. And sometimes, like we talked about with other things in the past, right? It takes a cacophony of things, right? It's the right guy, the right place, the right time with the right crowd, right? And you can get magic to happen. And I think Oba is that guy, and he's in the right place at the right time. And WWE knows who he is. They're willing to invest, right? And I think that the conclusion of this match is going to be the crowning of a new pillar in WWE, and that is the ruler, Obafemi Skeena.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to happen twice on night 2. We'll get to the other one later, but this has been done with care. You're right. It's been done pretty flawlessly. I can't imagine they could have found a way to do this any better. The crowd reactions there, Oba's going to beat him. It's going to be short. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be the Brock match, but it's going to have a different flavor because you're going to have someone that can maybe outmatch him physically. Probably not, but they may make it look that way.
Sure.
But it's going to be fun. I'm glad it's opening. It's going to get people pumped up. Brock may get popped up for a powerbomb, but it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome to see the Oba entrance at WrestleMania and what they do to dress it up. And yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for this one.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I think we're obviously we're both in sync here. We're in lockstep here with the winner here. And if there was any more of a foregone conclusion on this entire card, both nights,
this is probably it.
This has got to be it, right? So, the next match, because I'm just going up on this list here because it leads to what the main event will be. The Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Now, anytime Dirty Dom is in a match, I am pulling for Dirty Dom. This is not for the AAA Mega Championship, so there's nothing on the line for Dom to lose. Do I think that Dom is going to win this match? I don't. I don't think he loses anything because the title's not on the line. So my prediction, I'm going to go and give it early. I think that the Demon is going to win this match because I feel like you absolutely neuter the Demon if you bring it back out and Dom just beats him, right?
I don't know, man. Edge buried the Demon.
He did. And look, here's the thing. Edge buried the Demon, and they're bringing the Demon back as if it is something to be feared.
Right. Isn't that the last time we saw it?
I think so. Edge
beat him, cried after SmackDown a couple months later, and then
bounced.
I don't want to give too much of my thoughts away on that, but I think you can tell how I feel about all that.
Yeah. So, I think we can gather.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't think Dom loses anything here by ceding this victory to the Demon. And I think just the way you've been building it, it seems like it makes sense to put the Demon over here, right? Here's my gripe. And it is tied to what we spoke about before with Liv Morgan. It seems like this feud is the only lingering aspect of the Judgment Day that is going into WrestleMania. There are elements of the Judgment Day, right, that are going into WrestleMania. JD is going into a ladder match, which we will talk about later. Liv Morgan has her match against Stephanie Vaquero, which we've already discussed. Raquel and Roxanne are MIA. And now we've got this match, which is the only direct line to any Judgment Day story that they have been telling. I genuinely do not like how WWE decided to roll the Demon out ahead of time. I am not one of the people who believes that this would not have landed better if this match was Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Dom comes out first, right? And then you do the Demon entrance and the Demon comes out. I feel like that would have landed so much better than rolling this out ahead of time. I don't think that the fans' reaction would have changed at all. In fact, I think it would have been better if you hadn't announced it. I don't think this did a single damn thing to sell a single fucking ticket because I don't think anybody is paying extra to see the Demon. Like, I just don't. Certainly not in this economy. Certainly not with those WrestleMania ticket prices. even though
25% off thanks to Pat McAfee and Dodge Ram, baby.
but not for this night.
Well, not anymore. You missed it.
It was only for night one.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was
only for night one.
Yeah.
So nobody's paying full price tickets to see the Demon, right?
Hey.
I think that this was just another one of those things, right, that could have used a wee bit more vetting, right? Like the story beats are there, but I feel like I wish someone who had a bit more of a sense of how things are going to hit the fans, not necessarily what worked with the fans, because I'm no wrestler. Okay. I've never claimed to be one. I've never claimed to be somebody who has lineage in this, who has experience in the writing room. So far be it from me to speak ill of those men and women who have been doing this forever. Right. But one thing I can say that I am that they are not is a fan who's not in wrestling, right? And as a fan who's not in wrestling, but is someone who has had their hand in watching this product for a long time and not being a part of it, I genuinely feel like you're not going to get a bigger pop than from a well-timed surprise. And I feel like spoiling the Demon early defangs it. I feel like it defangs it and it just turned into a spectacle of an entrance. It does not add to the story. You've already did too much preamble and too much precursor to the idea that the Demon is supposed to be more vicious and more dangerous, as if we're supposed to forget, right, that the last time the Demon was in the ring, he got beat by Edge. And the time before that, the top rope buckle broke. Yeah, like the memory is not that short. And so you don't lean into the things that you're weak on. You lean into the strengths. The strength is the entrance, but it's also the mystery. Don't rob the fans of the hype. The hype comes in the mystery. It comes in the surprise. That's why the Royal Rumble was always one of the best pay-per-views of the year, because the anticipation of who could show up, right? But that's even precursored because we know that the Royal Rumble is about surprises. When you genuinely surprise someone, I think it hits so much harder. I think we're going to get a great entrance out of this. We're going to get a great match out of this because Finn Balor is dope, because Dominic Mysterio is dope. I think they're going to have a great match. I don't think it's going to be bad at all. I think you just missed a real opportunity to kind of like give the fans something really awesome with the surprise appearance of the Demon. But in that, I think Finn Balor wins this. I don't think Dom loses anything. And I think that you really defang Finn further if he pulls out the Demon again and he loses again to Dom.
Yeah, we seem to be setting up for at least Finn to have a little opportunity to kind of rise up the card as a single star again. I'm with you. Probably the better moment would have been the surprise of the Demon. That would have been cool. For sure. I don't, who knows what the reasoning is that they decided to reveal it before, but I definitely side with you in that the surprise would have been lit. Like everyone would have lost their mind. We'd have definitely lost our mind on the stream, but sure. I think this has been built well. It will be interesting to see where the Judgment Day goes post Finn, but I have no reason to think they won't keep ticking along as they've lost big pieces before, and I'm interested to see how Finn builds on this. But I'm with you that I think Finn Balor picks up a solid win here. The Demon is not losing this one.
No, I agree. I agree. We're in lockstep there. Speaking of the Judgment Day, speaking of JD McDonough, he is going to be in a Intercontinental Championship ladder match against obviously the champion Penta, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, Rusev, and Javon Evans. I will have such a clenched butt cheek during the entire match, maybe two clenched butt cheeks, because I feel like these matches are always like, I fail to understand how these people do these types of matches, because it's like, dude, that shit has got to hurt. Like some of the stuff they do, like it has got to hurt. Like you have got to be a different caliber of individual to really do those types of things. And I know that because Penta's in this match, because Dragon Lee's in this match, because JD McDonough is in this match, somebody is taking a Mexican destroyer onto ladders that are suspended between things.
Yeah.
I know that's going to happen. And honestly, where Rey Mysterio fits into this, but listen, I don't know what Ray is going to attempt to do.
do this match? Does Rey
That
Mysterio compete in this match on the second night of WrestleMania? Do
elaborate
we
on that.
still have AAA to happen? I'm still not 100% that it's not going to be Vikingo in this match instead of Rey Mysterio.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Nothing that I have seen makes me think that, but at the same time, Vikingo would make more sense because I feel like Rey Mysterio, for as ageless and as timeless as he
That's
is,
what I'm thinking too. Like, is he going to do this? Does
like
he
I
need to
can't
do this?
imagine. Right, I can't imagine him doing these really dangerous spots, particularly because Ray has phased out a lot of his like flippy stuff out of his repertoire. He's done that years ago.
Well,
So
it's actually come back in because this is an aside. We'll get lost in it. But he used to at a certain point, his knees got so bad. I've heard him talk about this that he could no longer jump from apron to top rope. Like he couldn't pull on the ropes and jump up to the top rope.
Yeah.
And then jump off. But then that came back. So I don't know if he started feeling better. But you're right. I mean, that's not, that's nothing to do with this match. But I think we're in lockstep that, like, does he need to be in there, like, doing this? And not to say he can't, but if I was in his position, I'd be like, nah, brother, I'm good.
Listen, he may be able to do it, but should he, right? Like, when Flair wrestled his last match, he could still technically do it. Should he have done it? Probably not.
All right. I think that's Don't put that on Ray.
I'm not putting that on Ray. I'm just putting it in perspective, right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And though this is not obviously this is not apples to apples, right? But like, bro, he's not in his prime. We know this though, right? Like time is a real thing. Just because he seems to defy aging doesn't mean he has defied time. And I don't like. Do I see Ray taking a Mexican destroyer from Penta through a ladder? No, I don't.
He's probably not the one to take that.
You know what I'm saying? And he's like, he's not the bottom, no pun intended. You know what I'm saying? But like, he's not the bottom the way Rusev is going to be. Rusev is the muscle. He's going to be the person who's probably going to take a lot of these like crazy. Javon Evans is going to touch the ceiling of whatever they're at, right? And he's going to come down on someone, and it's likely Rusev because Rusev is the bigger person, right? He's dealing with the whole field full of lighter people, right? So he's going to be able to take a lot of these bumps, right? And so I think it's going to work in that way. But then where does Ray fit into this? You introduced that idea, and now I'm thinking about it more, right? Like, do we get a situation where Ray's music hits and Ray doesn't come out, right? And then you go backstage. And Dom did make a statement to JD, right? About like your deadbeat dad being in this ladder match. And Dom said this off statement about like, don't worry about him. I know how to take care of him.
Yeah.
And we never came back to it. Right. And Ray just went right on ahead and in the match and nothing's happened. So it's possible that the night of, right, something happens to Ray.
Is this the first match back from injury for an older superstar?
Right.
Maybe. But maybe we're talking ourselves into a cool surprise, but I'm still not sold it's not a AAA superstar.
I don't
money,
disagree.
if it was going to be one, would it be it being Vikingo?
I feel like that would be the thing that would make the most sense other than, well, and you wouldn't do that because I don't think it would land very well. But the last time Vikingo and Dom were in the ring, they were adversaries. So, unless they patch something up, I don't see that being Dom's kind of like pull. You know what I'm saying? That the string he would pull, that would...
I thought it would be Ray's pull, but is Vikingo a heel in AAA?
He is.
He is, right? Yeah.
Yep,
so
he's a heel. So I don't think Ray would pull that either.
Here.
I mean, listen, it could be. It could very well be Vikingo. How we get there, don't know. But it's possible. So as far as a winner of this, though, I don't see Penta dropping this title. I think Penta's going to win this match. I think he's going to retain. I think it's going to be in JR's words, I think it's going to be a slobber knocker. And I think that spectacle alone is going to be enough for, to warrant some people's admission. And so I think that Penta holds on to that championship. I think he's doing very well with it. And he's clearly a star that the WWE is really trying to invest in. And this is a good spot for him until they move him into the main event picture. So he's defending it here. He's been defending it. He defended it at AAA. He actually defended in AAA against Vikingo. So
That's why we had brought it up.
Yeah.
And that match happens tonight, maybe?
I think that match happens tonight. And he's going to win it because he's going to win that match because the title is on the line at WrestleMania. It's kind of a foregone
this
conclusion.
happened last Saturday. April 11th is when it happened.
Sorry, guys, I didn't watch.
And Penta retained after mini Vikingo interfered.
Well,
see, this is how I could see this.
That Vikingo somehow tries to get his way into this match.
Ray. Yeah, maybe he attacks Ray.
Maybe he attacks Ray to take him out so he can put himself in this match to try and win the Intercontinental Championship again.
Correct.
I'm down with that. I like it. Sign it.
All right.
Write it in stone, WWE. Make it happen.
So you took Penta.
Yep.
And that's probably correct, but I can't let a crazy prediction not happen.
Okay, where are we going?
My prediction that is sure to not come true is going to be that a returning Lana helps Rusev win this match. It's not happening, but it's on record in case it does.
I mean, has there been any speculation that CJ Perry?
I think she has said that her dream would be to come back and work with Rusev again.
I will say this: He
needs that again.
He needs
because it just doesn't work without her.
He needs something. I think there was a window that they could have seized that would have given Rusev more of a legitimate push. I don't think they've missed it, but I certainly don't think they have attempted to go through it. And so I think you bringing in Lana. So here's my thing with that. I think it'll be an awesome moment. I think that the fans would love it. I think you'd put the IC title on him, but I also think that Lana coming back into the picture in that way would squarely lock Rusev in the mid card. I think he would be locked there.
Where the hell else is he going to be?
I think Rusev could compete against some of the top superstars. Not necessarily that he would win the championship, but I think he is a caliber of athlete. He's got the size, he's got the look. And listen, despite what some people may think about Rusev,
theoretically could be in matches against people higher on the card. Yes, but he's not going to be.
But he could be. And
give him his wife back and make him interesting because he ain't right now.
Hey, look, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying you bring his wife back, and I think you kissed the upper card goodbye. And I think you kissed upper card goodbye simply because
he did that a long time ago. He did that the minute Bobby Lashley started fucking his wife.
That was
on
old
TV.
Rusev. Okay, this is new Rusev. Okay,
you don't just wash away getting cucked.
Listen, I didn't even remember that. I didn't even remember that happened. Right?
Yeah, he was the upper card was done then.
Skeena, I don't know why you bringing up old stuff. Okay, like we're on the new. Look, WWE's under a new regime. Okay, the backstage crew has changed. The product is different. I think Rusev has the ability to be in the main event picture. Not saying I think he would win, right? But I think Rusev is not given the credit he deserves for being as good as he is. And I'm not talking about just in the ring. I'm talking about he can handle himself in a promo. I think he does well with understanding the camera. He understands well with playing to the fans, right? Certain things he does. The match he wrestled on Raw, right? This past Monday, right? Where it's like he did the Javon Evans thing into the camera with Stu.
Yeah.
It's just great timing. The dude knows how to do it. It's just a matter of putting him in a position where he can do it in a way that is working for him and also services what the company is trying to do in the main event picture. That may not be him winning a championship, right? But I think he can compete above the mid card. He could do what Sheamus did. Sheamus wrestled in the top scene. He won a title every now and then, but he was never like the guy, right? Rusev could be that if you elevated him in such a way and utilized what he has. I think when you put him with Lana again, I think you bring him back into Rusev Day. And Rusev Day was great, fun for the fans, really engaging, right? But I also think that his height was the tank at WrestleMania with Lana, right?
Sure.
And that's as high as he got. And he never sniffed that air again. I think he has a better shot without Lana than he does with Lana. But that's just my opinion. I am very open to being wrong about all of that.
It wasn't even good Bobby Lashley. It was Bobby Lashley that would bend over and show his ass to the camera when Leo Rush told him with a headband.
Do you remember what any of the other people who are currently in WWE were doing during that era, during that period?
I know what Rusev was doing, and it wasn't good.
You remember what Sami Zayn was doing? Because he's the only person right now.
He was probably a heel at that point.
Yeah, yeah, he was probably doing that. He had the other music at the time.
He was about to wrestle Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, that was awful, right? And look where he's at now. He's going to WrestleMania as the U.S. champion, right?
Yeah, things can change.
Things can change. He lost to Johnny Knoxville. He lost to the cast of Jackass at WrestleMania, right? Listen, all I'm saying is things can turn around for people, okay? Things can turn around for people, okay? Rusev can come back from the cuckening, all right? That can happen.
I'm waiting on it.
Listen,
and I'm not holding my breath.
I'm waiting on it too. And if you bring back Lana, it won't. Because then everybody will be talking. It's like, hey, didn't she get like you? As soon as we brought up Lana,
but Bobby Lashley's gone. No, as soon as you started talking about theoretical main eventer Rusev.
That was after you brought up Lana. That was after you brought up Lana, right? And as soon as Lana came back into the picture, now we're talking about Rusev getting cucked, right? If Lana
I thought about that regardless.
If Lana comes back, there will be more use, and they will be being, hey, didn't you do that thing with Bobby Lashley and cuck your husband? Like that's going to be the talk, and it's going to relegate him to the mid card for life. And I don't think there's any.
He is mid card for life anyways, so he might as well be doing it with his wife.
I disagree, but that's okay. So you think that Lana's going to come back and help Rusev win?
Yep.
All right, bet.
I mean, no, but yes. On the record, yes. Truthfully, no. But look, let's put it out there.
Speaking of people who had changed their trajectories in that era, you brought up Sami Zayn, right? Sami Zayn is going into WrestleMania as the United States champion.
Booed out of the building.
Oh, for sure. Look, I think either Sami Zayn's current gimmick, what he's doing right now, is either a clear telltale sign of when WWE is trying to force a face and it doesn't work because everybody likes to heel in Trick Williams, or this is one of the most clever heel character portrayals in Sami Zayn that I've seen in a long time. And I'm hoping it's the latter.
It is.
Because I love that. I love the fact that Sami is on screen talking about the fans that love me, my fans that have always supported me. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm fighting every night for you. The rest of you guys don't care about you. And, because I know that the people who are with me are going to support me. And you know what I'm saying? And when Trick comes out, he's playing the good guy role. He's hitting the good guy beats, right? But he is clearly the person that everyone in the stadium is booing, right? And they're cheering for Trick. And listen, Trick said something last Friday on SmackDown when he's in the promo with Sami. And I've been reciting it all week, all right? Trick said, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not getting every word right, but Trick said, I may not have come up on the indies like you, Sami, and I may not have had to grind like you, Sami, but they do call me the anointed one, and life ain't always fair. And so at WrestleMania, ... I remember listening to that promo, Skeener, thinking to myself, I love that because life ain't always fair. And it just made so much sense in that moment because Sami's character is hanging his hat on the fact that, Trick, you ain't learned nothing because you came into this business and you haven't done anything. You talk a big game, right? But you didn't do anything. You haven't proven anything. Right? I proved it on the indies. I proved it for years and years of sacrifice. And Trick is like, honestly, I hear you, but I've already surpassed you, Sami. I've surpassed you and I ain't have to do none of that. Because sometimes, just sometimes, life isn't fair. And it's not fair to you that I have surpassed you in every way possible. And I ain't have to do none of the stuff you did to get it. But you know what? Such is life. And sometimes shit happens. And I loved that. I love that. Trick Williams is a star. The company knows he's a star. This is, in my opinion, the second easiest match to book of the night and to predict, because I think it is a foregone conclusion here that this match is going to probably go maybe 10 minutes, 12 maybe. And I think Trick is going to hit the trick shot, maybe with help from Yachty. He's going to win the United States Championship, and we are going to crown Trick Williams and bring him into the spotlight as someone who you should really pay attention to, because now he has some gold. And I think he's probably going to be the best thing to happen to the United States Championship in a very, very long time. And God knows it needs it. Skeener, your thoughts, brother?
I'm in lockstep with you pretty much. Everything you said, like it's clear the same way Obafemi is in obviously a different flavor, but everyone's behind Trick Williams. He's already a star. He's a future, even bigger star, megastar, whatever you want to call him. The fans are there. The Yachty stuff has been great. They're good together. The entrance at WrestleMania is going to be incredible with that whole stadium doing the whoop-that's. I thought last week was great. I think Sammy's doing good work as much as, we shit on Sammy, and as I have not enjoyed Sammy at times. I think leaning into this part is good. And I think we've heard Kevin Owens say it in interviews before that, Sammy's my best friend, but sometimes he's hard to like. And I think playing into that is good.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm with you in that this is the second hardest match to call is there is a way you do a double turn and Sammy retains and then tricks the face and Sammy's full on heel. I don't think that happens, but I think it's within the realm of possibility. But I'm with you in that I think and want Trick Williams to win the title here.
I got you. And I think maybe I misspoke, right? I think that this is not hard to call. I think this is the easiest match to predict outside of Oba and Brock, right?
Correct. I'm with you, but I think that's because I don't see any possibility where Brock wins, and I do see a possibility where, people really want Trick to win and really don't want Sammy to win. So if he cheats to win and doubles down on this, but my Sammy fans love me and I don't care about you all, I think he becomes a giant heel if he does that.
I agree with you there. I think he would become a giant heel because people would hate the fact that Trick didn't win.
Yes.
Right. But I think that would be less about Sammy being a great heel. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I think that what Sammy is doing right now is just the surface of this heel turn for him, right? My thought with Sammy, whether it was Trick or not, was always that Sammy is going to get a little taste of what he wants, right? Start, sniffing his farts a little too much. And it's going to implode in his face, right? And I think that him believing his own hype, right? Believing that Trick doesn't deserve to be here, believing that I'm Sami Zayn. I have my fans and it doesn't care what anybody else thinks because they're my fans and I've done this and I've done that. And when you get in the ring with me, I'm going to show you a thing or two. I think Sammy is believing his own hype too much, right? And I think Trick beats him. And I think that spiral that Sammy was going in, that little hole he was sliding down, I think he's going to further slide down it. And then I think he's going to turn straight up heel. And I think we're going to get a pretty awesome Sami Zayn heel arc. Because there's a feud there between him and Trick and Carmelo, right? Because Melo is going to have something to do after Mania, right? And I don't think Sami Zayn is going to be apart from that. I just don't think Sammy is going to be the champion with Melo coming back into the picture. I think that Trick is going to be the champion. And then Melo is going to be going at Trick. Sammy's going to feel some kind of way going into his full heel arc, and he's not going to leave the situation alone. And he's going to be this annoying firefly ant that is going to be in the ear and on the neck of both Melo and Trick. And we lead into some sort of triple threat and maybe bad blood or something like that, right? But I think Trick wins this match. I don't think that Sammy walks away with the championship.
I think so too, but it's in my mind that it's a possibility.
Yeah.
If Sami Zayn does something heelish and hits a finisher, I'm gonna be worried. I'll tell you that.
I think, yeah, you know what? I would be worried
If
too.
he hits a low blow or like grabs some tights or pushes a ref, I'm gonna be like, oh no,
Yes.
here we go.
I think that
So that's what I'm trying to say.
I hear you. I think the equalizer there is Lil Yachty.
You're right.
Right. So I could see Sammy doing something underhanded like that, right? And then trying to get the victory, but he doesn't get the victory because then underhanded is paid by underhanded. Trick wins underhandedly, and Sammy's whole thing is like, he cheated.
Yeah.
You know, like he cheated.
You're right. I
It's
could see that would be great.
Bitch, you cheated.
If he tries to cheat, and then that would be great for Sammy.
Yeah,
as a character.
You do dirt, you get dirt. And look, as Trick said, hey, look, life ain't fair. Life ain't fair, Sammy. And oh my gosh, Sammy and Trick would be so obnoxiously great with that title.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, WWE, if you decide to do this with Trick, which I hope you do, let's do one more thing to give the fans something really cool.
Are the Lemon Pepper Steppers the first shoe release on WWE.com?
Ooh, I like it. I would buy
Imagine people showing up.
I would buy some just cause. I will buy some just cause, brother. I just bought some Western boots the other day. It's like my second pair in a year. I'm down. So like, if they sell them and they're good quality, I might. The price better be reasonable and the leather better be genuine. WWE, give us a new design for the U.S. Championship. We haven't done it in a while, and the IC Championship fairly recently got its new version, the one that's on my shelf there, right? Let's get a new U.S. Championship. Let's give this thing a facelift, right? Because Trick is that guy. And just let's go in a new direction with the U.S. Championship. Let's give it a bit of a rebirth the way that we did with the IC Championship. So let's just do a new rebranding of it because we haven't done it in a while. We did the spinner, right? When Cena got it, and Cena was that dude on his way up. And I see Trick in a very similar fashion. You know what I mean? So like, let's give it a facelift. Let's sell more belts. Because I don't think the U.S. Championship is probably one of the highest selling belts you got, right?
Probably not.
But if you brand it right with this new champion, I think you sell them. I'd buy one. Okay, so 2 matches left, people. And we are finishing the predictions for WrestleMania. Now, the next match we've spoken about briefly, tangentially, with a match that is not on the card, suspiciously. Don't understand why that is. But Jade Cargill, WWE Women's Champion, will be squaring off against Rhea Ripley for the championship. Io Sky has become the damsel in this situation, the impetus for why Rhea is now going to fight so hard. This came from her, not from me, right? Because she said, this is no longer about muscles. This is no longer about blah, blah, blah. You attacked my Io, you know? And I'm just like, the build for this was never really strong. I'm looking forward to the match because it's Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. I think the Io inclusion in this did give it a little more flavor, which I'd like because I like all the parties involved, right? Do I feel like you should have sacrificed the Io, Asuka, Kyrie of it all for this? Not so much. And I say that just because I don't believe that Rhea versus Jade needed it any more than Jade needed her entourage, which, you know, got beat up off screen and we haven't seen. But we're here now. It doesn't like Io is going to be competing at WrestleMania unless they give us something on Friday, which I doubt they will. But we got Jade and we got Rhea. Skeener, I'm going to let you lead with this one, but I'm going to pose a question. Do you think that it is time to take the championship off of Jade?
No, but I think it happens. Does that make enough sense?
It does.
Like I don't think we're like at she's got to lose it at this point. Like I don't think it's reached that point, but I also think she doesn't win this match. And maybe she does. Maybe she does and this continues, but I think if this is the ultimate conclusion, I don't see Rhea Ripley losing this match. Mostly because I don't see Rhea Ripley ever losing too many feuds because she's that big of a star. And like we've said weekly, this hasn't been a build that's been fantastic, especially from that first promo that still think is weird. And the inclusion, giving Jade a little bit of giving her baddies, her entourage for Rhea to work through, that was fine. That was good. Rhea beating the crap out of him on Friday was great. And then Jade, still picks up a win over Io. I thought that was good. I thought bringing Io into it, aside from what you said about kind of sacrificing the other story, was good in terms of, hey, Rhea, I know it doesn't bother you if I beat you up, but if I beat your friend up, I know that'll do something to you. So I liked that. It's been fine. It's been, one of the builds that hasn't been as good. I think Rhea just gets the win and they try to, maybe jumpstart that division this way. Because it really, the titles, the WWE Women's Championship scene really has been lost at sea kind of since they pulled that. We've talked about it however many times, and I don't really want to do it again in depth, is that once they pulled Naomi out of it last summer, it's kind of been lost at sea, and maybe getting the title on one of the company's biggest stars in Rhea helps alleviate that. And I think that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So I was counting just now. SummerSlam was when Naomi picked up the championship, right?
No,
she
Naomi
won
picked it up at Evolution.
Okay, she dropped it before SummerSlam. She relinquished it.
I don't really remember.
I don't think she ever defended it.
No, I don't think she defended it, but I think SummerSlam was before Evolution.
Was it really? Oh, okay.
I think so.
I thought Evolution was in like July, and I thought that SummerSlam was in August.
Oh no, you're right. Evolution was before SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think she dropped it.
It was the show before. You're right.
She dropped it before SummerSlam. So I was just counting, right? August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. This month, Naomi should be giving birth, right? Now, far be it from me to determine when is the right time for somebody to come back, and I'm not going to. Spend time with your kid, do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Do what you want to do. But
get your ass back to work, girl. We need you.
Listen,
we need you. That's what we're saying.
The division needs you for sure. But I think within the calendar year, right, you get Naomi back at some point. So the idea of Jade dropping the title right now doesn't scare me so much. But I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like Rhea Ripley, because of her bulletproof status, is not going to lose anything by taking a loss here. I'm thinking Jade doesn't beat her straight up, right? I feel like
for sure, yeah. If she
her
wins,
baddies get involved. Io may try to come to her rescue. Maybe this is how you get Asuka and Kyrie involved, by somehow stopping Io from, from assisting. And Jade beats Rhea at WrestleMania and retains. Rhea can continue to chase Jade, at some point. And then Jade drops that title maybe to Rhea, right? A slightly further down the line. And then that would free up Jade for returning Naomi. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even a Bianca. Like,
I forgot about
names
her.
we haven't, we haven't seen in a while, right? And there's history there. So that's things that you can play into, things that you can use. And a lot has changed since the last time either one of you are here, right? Jade's been champion. She's no longer champion. She's got her entourage, which may or may not stick around. I think they should, because I think you could do some interesting things without the title with them. And then you have me returning Naomi or Bianca if she ever comes back. And you've got some things you can play off of there that you didn't get to touch on the first go around because Bianca was injured and then Naomi left for motherhood. So there's some things you can play off of there. But I think because of that, because it would be 9 months this month, I think if you were to plan for the future to keep Jade hot, she beats Rhea here. She beats Rhea here. Then you can branch off a feud between Io and Asuka, where Io, maybe can come out on top of that. Who knows, right? But you can then do some more things with Rhea chasing Jade, helping Io figure out the Asuka thing. Then we can finally get the Kyrie breaking free, right? And then Rhea can have Io and Kyrie to even the odds against Jade and her baddies, and Rhea takes the title off of Jade. You know what I mean? Because hell, what's Kyrie going to do when she's free? Like, she's going to go with Io.
I see what you're saying, and I'm not sure Rhea's going to win by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
God, what else could they do in this feud?
I
It's not going to
honestly,
be good TV if we have to just see this same exact feud continue
brother,
for
I
another
am
2
with
months.
you, and I'm and the only reason I'm really postulating this is because I am genuinely 1,000% trying to make sense of why the Io Asuka Kyrie thing is not a thing at WrestleMania. I'm trying to make sense of
Yeah,
that,
I don't
right?
know.
And the reason why I'm leaning in this direction is because that would make this make sense, right? That would at least utilize the fact that this is not happening at WrestleMania. Because if Rhea loses because she's outnumbered, right? Because Io is confined to the run in and help, right? But she's outnumbered by the baddies, and Asuka or Kyrie get involved and don't allow her to help. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
the dirt sheet reason that it's not there is because they don't know if Nikki's cleared, so at the last moment they can throw Kyrie and
And
Asuka
Asuka
into the
into the
tag match. Yeah.
You know what? All right, look, let's say that's true, because that actually makes a lot of sense, right? Let's say that's true. And Nikki's not cleared, and so they throw in the Kabuki Warriors, right, in this match. You throw the Kabuki Warriors in there, that leaves Io all by her lonesome, right? She still gets outnumbered by the baddies when the baddies come in to inevitably try to help Jade win. Jade still retains. You still have your same setup, right, moving forward. I think that makes the most sense. And now that you said that with the dirt sheets, which I don't like to lean too much into those, but that don't make no sense. That makes a lot of sense, right? That, yeah, Nikki's on the fence. And if they're trying to keep it as a fatal 4-way, you know what I'm saying, tag match, then you plug in the Kabuki Warriors, boom, done and done. It's an easy match to slot them into. Damn, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, actually, in that sense, yeah, my pick is Jade. I think Jade wins this match. I think it makes the most sense. Io's going to be out there doing nothing now. If they're plugged into that tag match, Io's got to play the role she's been playing, which is to come in and try and help Rhea, right? And I think she's going to get outnumbered by the baddies. There's going to be cheating involved, and Jade wins. And we extend it just a little bit further, and then you have the Kyrie split from Asuka. Kyrie goes with Io, right? And then you get the Sky Pirates back together, right? And then they help Rhea offset the baddies, and Rhea wins the championship. I think that makes the most sense right now, because like you said, I think if it goes the other way and Rhea wins, I don't know what you do with Jade and the baddies. I mean, you could do some fun things.
What do you do with? What do you even do with Rhea?
Oh,
because that SmackDown women's scene is
I think Rhea still chases. I think Rhea still chases Jade because
Well, I mean, even if she wins, you're saying if she wins, what do you do with Jade?
Jade wins. Oh, you mean if Rhea wins?
If Rhea wins, what do you do with Jade? If Rhea wins, what do you do with Rhea?
Well, I think if Jade wins, Rhea continues to chase. It makes a lot of sense for her to continue to chase because Jade doesn't win straight up and fair. She cheats to win, right? And that's been the whole arc that, you got your girls out here. They're always helping you do stuff, and you're beating up my friend because it moved from being about muscles to attacking my homie, right? And then what's going to happen is Io comes out there, and the baddies start beating her up. Rhea's distracted, you know what I'm saying? And it's like Io gets taken out, and Jade takes advantage. Jade wins the match. Rhea's got a gripe. If Rhea wins, Rhea's not going to cheat to win, right? She's going to win straight up. And so Jade's complaint is, "What you beat me fair and square, even though I tried to cheat, and I want a rematch." And I mean, you could go that route, but it's like that then leaves nothing for Kyrie and Io to do once they reunite as the Sky Pirates. And I think that their first,
they could do the tag titles.
They could, but they could go after the tag team champions that are going to be the Bailey and Lyra after they win. That'd be a nice first championship, the title defense.
We'll know the next time.
We will. So you're picking Rhea?
I am. Yeah, I'm sticking with Rhea.
All right, I'm going with Jade. And our last match, and certainly not least, we got CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, the main event of night 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship. Skeener, I have been delaying the use of this all night, but I think for me it's appropriate. This is the hardest match for me to call.
It's not easy.
This one could legitimately go either way because this story between the two of them has been so self-contained that it doesn't have a lot of other angles and arcs that would lean me in one direction or the other. I think that overall, the promos have been good. I think once we got past the "you're old" thing, we got into some better stuff, and I think we finished strong. We stuck the landing, and now we're here. I think that this is an appropriate night 2 main event. Punk finally gets his legitimate main event match at WrestleMania. Like, this is the creme de la creme main event that he is in, and he's going in as the champion. So, wish fulfillment there, right? If I had to just throw my coin onto one side of this board, I think it might be Roman. And that's just me just pulling off of the fact that Roman has never held this title. I think that would also mean that we would get more Roman Reigns on our television. I think that also would put into play some interesting matchups that we have not seen yet with some characters on the board who are new to the playing field, and I would really love to see. As much as I love Punk, I would rather see Roman Reigns versus Obafemi for the World Heavyweight Championship at some point. Now, if we're following the trajectory that Brock Lesnar took, right? Brock Lesnar wasn't long on the main roster before they put a title around his waist, right? And if I'm not mistaken, lineage-wise, it's the same title.
No, I don't think so.
It was the big gold that they put around Lesnar, right?
No, that title didn't exist when Lesnar had won it because he won it. He was the last one before the original brand split. He was the first.
Okay.
He was the last WWE champion before the brand split that then became.
Yeah, I remember the belt.
First WWE champion.
Okay. I think
that became exclusive to SmackDown. I
think you have Roman win this championship at WrestleMania. If he doesn't win it here, I don't know. I don't know if you run this back between Punk and Roman at a later date. I think you have so many other cards you can play at big PLEs like SummerSlam, like at Survivor Series, like at WrestleMania, right? To run this back again. So I feel like if you got the opportunity, put the title on Roman. Punk goes on to do other things after his championship run. And when Roman least expected, the lights turn green. And Obafemi comes out and he challenges Roman for that championship. Did Roman fight Gunther while he was on his historic title run?
Nope.
Gunther's back. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen those matchups yet, but we've seen Gunther and Punk, right? Punk's kind of gone through the roster. And so I think you put it on Roman.
Bit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, who else? I mean, there are new people on the roster that Punk hasn't faced, right? Yeah. But who has he not wrestled? I mean, he's wrestled Seth. He's wrestled Gunther. He's wrestled. He didn't wrestle Lesnar, did he?
Not this time, no.
Okay. Yeah, see, he didn't wrestle Lesnar, but I don't know how much Lesnar's going to be around after this loss to Oba. I'm trying to think who else Punk wrestled, because he's wrestled quite a few people in championship matches.
AJ and Finn.
Okay, AJ and Finn. Who else could he wrestle right now that's not new to the roster? Randy?
I mean, he's not going to wrestle Randy. Randy's going to have the other title. I mean, there are people, but I get what you're saying.
I think Roman has been without a title long enough to where if you put a title on him, you can have
since he lost to Cody, and he hasn't had a title match since then, I don't think.
No, he certainly did not. He hasn't. So I think putting him in that picture where he's a champion again, he can wrestle some new faces, some new people, and then we can figure out what we do with Punk. But I mean, Punk is freaking Punk, so he's going to be Punk wherever he goes. He's like Roman.
Well, I mean, either one of these guys is going to be fine.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm gonna put my pick on Roman here. Well, what about you, brother? Last one of the night.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is winning this match. Whether or not Punk acknowledges him is to be seen. But Vegas and everyone else will acknowledge their tribal chief as he ascends back to the throne and to the top spot. I think a big question is whether or not there are shenanigans in this match. Do the previously involved Usos get involved in this match? Does someone else get involved in this match? Because we put into play, even before Pat McAfee showed up, we put into play that Roman is the company guy and that we had this place going before you were champion, and he's we talked about that on after one of their first or second promo segments.
Yeah.
In that it's interesting that Roman has made himself the stand-in for TKO and WWE the company. Does that come into play? I cannot see a Roman Reigns WrestleMania main event that does not have some sort of shenanigan. I just can't see it. And I think whatever happens, and I don't know what it's going to be, is going to be good because it always tends to be with Roman Reigns. And if nothing else, I feel like for the most part, WWE has been getting the big night 2 main event correct. I know we're coming off John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and I get that. But I think besides that, we've been on a good streak of things, and I think that continues. I think there's some sort of shenanigans, and I think Roman Reigns walks away with the title, and CM Punk has a grievance he can air and continue to be the CM Punk we all know and love, the voice of the voiceless, and Roman Reigns is back on top for at least the time being. But I will stand on the hill that I've stood on since the moment it became clear this was the match. This is going to be one of the greatest matches we have ever seen.
That is a lofty set of praise that you have lobbed on this match.
It has years of history on screen and off screen. It has probably the two biggest stars in the business right now, two of the biggest stars of all time, two of the best of all time. Am I setting myself up for disappointment? Possibly. But I think these are two guys in or close enough to their prime that are some of the best ever on the biggest stage possible for the biggest prize in the business, arguably, with the other belt, that it just has to be what it's going to be. And that's as good as it gets in sports entertainment.
I think that the story that is told in the ring will tell that tale. I don't think that it's a stretch to believe that it has the potential to do that. It's just a matter of how the match progresses. As far as Roman and interference, I like the idea that there's some sort of interference that allows Punk to continue to have a grievance and gives him some fuel moving out of such a big loss at WrestleMania, right? Obviously, I agree with you that both of these guys will be fine. They don't need help, right? But giving him something to sink his teeth into out of WrestleMania is good.
CM Punk is always better with a grievance than without one.
Agreed. So I think that will be beneficial to him. For Roman, I have more questions. I wonder if going back to the well, right, with the idea that Roman can't win anything without help is a bridge too far too soon. Like, it feels like to legitimize Roman again would be the appropriate course of action. When he first went on his historic title run, right, he established himself as the dominant tribal chief by beating his cousins, right? But he didn't do that with help. He just beat them, right? He established himself. And then when he established the bloodline, then he started overwhelming with his presence, his ring acumen, his physicality and the numbers game, right? And then it became a story of the numbers game and then all those other things, right? And then the infamous black hoodie became an entity in and of itself. I feel like for Roman to have his first title shot since he lost to Cody, to also include shenanigans on his behalf that cause him to win, may be antithetical to the character that Roman Reigns is being portrayed as currently. He's being portrayed more as a face in his persona right now. And I don't know if the fans would resonate in that way if he goes right back to the same tactics as before to win. Whether it would be a great thing to see or not, I don't know. It might be fun. And depending on who it is that would come in to help him, could be very interesting, right? If it's not the same black hoodie and maybe it's more corporate, you know what I'm saying? Then, okay.
Don't talk yourself into that.
That's a different thing.
But what if?
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
What,
like, what if,
what
right?
if Pat McAfee is the catalyst for a new
my
corporation?
Bro, if it is Pat McAfee,
that holds
I am
both
going to
titles.
lose my mind. That would be, oh boy. Listen, the internet would be a hostile, toxic place more than it already is for the foreseeable future if Pat McAfee is the centerpiece here.
I don't think it will be, but that's a what if probably for the episode after. But we are both solidly on the side that Roman Reigns wins this title. The only reason I foresee shenanigans is where does Punk, and I'm not saying Punk can't survive it because he's bulletproof. Like he's as bulletproof as it gets. But does he really lose just a straight up match to Roman Reigns because he's not the better man? So rarely does that happen. Does that happen here?
I think Punk could pull it off if the blowback from that or the ramifications from this is something that immediately throws him back into turmoil. So,
right.
Like if he loses clean.
But what are those ramifications that gives him something to, like you said, sink his teeth into if he just loses straight up?
The immediate thing that pops into my head, right, is if you bring in, first thing that pops into my head is if Roman is a dick. Like, let's say Punk shows up on Raw, right, and he does the whole thing where it's like, I don't like you. I don't like him. I showed up. I gave my all. Last night, I just was not the better man, right? I can admit that to myself because I'm a real man. I'm a grown man, right? Roman's music hits and Roman comes out. He leads with the similar energy and then he ends it with disrespect because he doesn't like CM Punk. That's one way. The other way could be if Roman comes out, he's leading with that energy and a new opponent inserts himself into the picture, right? Disrespects Punk by looking past him and at Roman when Punk believes that he should get a rematch, right? Throw another party into the mix to take some of the energy away from him having to carry that L on his own. And you could spin something off from there. Like, it's not a fully fleshed out idea, but that's two ways that you could make that work without shenanigans.
It's going to be a fun one. It really is.
It is. Listen, we said it at the top of this match. Like, this is the one that could legit go either way. And how you branch off of this, I have no clue because it could legit go in either direction. But
this is the one I'm waiting for. And I got to wait all of 2 nights.
Yes, sir.
But man, I think we're going to have 2 incredible entrances. And, it gets overused, but big fight feel. I think this is big fight feel.
I agree. Listen, this WrestleMania has a few of those, right? That have that real big fight feel. Here's my genuine, legitimate question for you, Skeena. Are you having pizza 2 nights in a row?
Yes.
Okay. I see.
But it doesn't have to be WrestleMania for that to happen. But at least this is a good excuse for it to happen.
Listen, it's a good excuse for me.
Because here's the thing. Chain pizza and local pizza is a different food. So you can eat those back to back.
Very true.
So if you order a local place and then you want to have Domino's the next night, doesn't count the same.
Oh, I see. I'm with you now.
Doesn't count the same.
I gotcha.
And even if you want to have it 2 nights in a row, that's okay. That's why once we all make it to being an adult, that's the reward. That's the reward for all the other stuff.
I am
for taxes on this tax day. If you got to pay taxes, like I just had to, my first quarterly payment for the 2026 tax year, you can do pizza 2 nights in a row for WrestleMania.
I'm mad. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And listen, this is absolutely my excuse for pizza 2 nights in a row because I am definitely someone who enjoys pizza like anyone else. But I am oftentimes a person that doesn't mind a palate cleanser in between. But I sometimes get a bug up my butt for something in particular. And I have been starving myself of pizza so I could do this 2 nights in a row. Right. And I'm at the point now where it's like, yeah, I could do it 2 nights in a row. Right.
Me too. I've starved myself on pizza for about, what time is it? Nearly 11 hours at this point.
Shut up.
So it's been 11 hours since I had pizza. So
listen, all I'm gonna
actually
say,
that's not even true. There was one piece left over and I ate it this morning.
Yeah,
It hasn't even been 8 hours to be honest.
Okay, so listen, I'm not even talking to you no more about pizza. I'm talking to the listeners about pizza. You guys bring your appetite and listen. You ain't got to do like Skeens and I, right? You don't have to have pizza 2 nights in a row. But I will say this: if you don't, lack of camaraderie. But do whatever works for you, but I will hold it against you. It's going to be fun. This weekend is going to be fun. I have been looking forward to it more than you know. But if you're a fan like we are, I'm probably wrong about that too. Make sure you come and hang out with us this weekend. This is going to be the biggest weekend for us for sure. I guarantee it. This episode, next week's episode, are probably going to be our most viewed episodes for the year. They were last year, and they're probably going to be again this year. This is usually the time when new fans come around. They're looking for something to listen to. They're looking for something to watch. If they're not going to the show, they want to feel communal because if there's no other time, it's WrestleMania, right? And this will be the first year that Lariat Lounge will be live watching it for WrestleMania. So tune in, bring a friend, come hang out. Whether you got your merch or not, hang out with us. Skeens, please let everyone know about the awesome freaking weekend we're going to have and where you can keep up with what's happening next week, because I'm telling you, the stuff that happens this weekend, you're going to want to talk about it. You're going to want to engage with it. So let them know where they can do it.
Where you're going to hang out with us for WrestleMania week, for WrestleMania, and for everything that's going to happen on that Raw after WrestleMania. We're going to have so much to talk about. Please find the Lariat Lounge on YouTube. You're going to search the Lariat Lounge. That's where you're going to find us. You're going to find all our episodes, video and audio format, all the old episodes. That's where we'll be live streaming this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Both nights of WrestleMania. We'll be there live. Come hang out, watch the show with us, react to everything in real time. Just have a great time with us. We do every time. If more of you want to come out and join the little community we've got, we would love it. We have a blast every time. The show, if you still like the audio podcast, we're coming at you on all your favorite platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your shows. That's where we are. If you want to get that link to the live stream, you can find that on our story. We'll put those up on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast on Instagram. You got any questions, comments, anything, you can always send us a DM there, but that's where you'll find the link when we go live on Saturday and Sunday. And as always, you're gonna have some post WrestleMania thoughts for sure. Go ahead and send them over to us at the Lariat Lounge at gmail.com.
Listen, guys, I cannot stress to you how fun it is going to be this weekend. Skeens and I will be enjoying ourselves for sure. I might even have a beer. Oh my God. It's going to be crazy. Come hang out with us. It's really going to be a good time, guys. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to enjoy it. It's the biggest show of the year. It's to be the biggest event of the year. And I hope you guys come and spend some time with your boys over in the lounge. We would really appreciate it if you do so. From your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens, this has been the last Lariat Lounge before WrestleMania. Come and check us out this weekend. And please, watch yourself on the way out.